The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
No!
Steve was like before the show, we should use the buttons more.
No,
that's why we don't.
No, I wanted the laugh track. Where's the laugh track?
Still a joke.
Hey, boys, what do you call a team that lost last night? The Leafs. There you go. That was a great one.
I remember when you filled in for Tim on Tim and Sid, and Sid let you touch that soundboard thing, and I was like, why did you give him access?
I wonder why I didn't get
Sid.
invited back very much.
Yeah. He's just sitting there. Sid's trying to have a conversation, and Steve is like, beep, 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 beep. Anyway, happy Easter. I was asking my Catholic brethren here to my left, do you say Happy Good Friday? I don't think you do.
Buona Pasqua.
Buona Pasqua? What does that mean?
This is Happy Easter in Italian.
Okay. Right.
How do you feel about Italy sucking at soccer?
Man!
Not Buona Pasqua, you know what I'm saying?
It's not a very Buona Pasqua in Italia right now. I don't know. I want Canada to win. Hooray.
Yeah, you don't really cheer for Italy at international things.
I did when I was a kid.
Well, because Canada wasn't in them.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Because one of my earliest sports memories is actually all my family coming over and we watched the 94 World Cup.
Oh, cool.
I think it was the 94 World Cup or whatever that tournament was. Might have been the Euro.
I think it was 94 because it would have been 98. I remember the 98.
Yeah.
That was the first one I watched.
Yeah. And I think Italy lost.
They did in penalties.
Yeah.
So you're okay. You're not devastated today like most of Woodbridge.
No,
you're good. Okay.
No.
That's good.
not at all.
I do feel bad for College Street and all the area in there. It is a bummer because there's such an Italian population here.
Yeah.
It's a bummer not to have Canada, Italy in that first game. But
it would have been great.
In theory, it could make it better for them in the group stage, and they might actually win a World Cup game because they never have. But I think it's one of those where I wouldn't take Bosnia Herzegovina not seriously.
Well, so you should be happy for Bosnia. A lot of people they're like, oh, fuck Bosnia.
Fuck Bosnia. What have they ever done?
No, they earned that victory.
No, I mean, and they're in the World Cup now. You might as well make some noise.
Which is pretty cool for Bosnia.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. No, I mean, I would have maybe preferred Italy to win, but no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You're rooting for Canada.
Yeah,
we're hosting the World Cup. Yeah,
100%.
Pretty cool.
Somewhere in Italy, there's a Stefano D'Angile who is telling them to burn it all down and to the system's broken, man.
Che cazzo fai?
Something like that.
Really upset.
I bet they're extremely entertaining. Now, we're going to start today with some sad news. Sad news is these coffee mugs are now out of date.
Oh, right. Oh, we haven't done have we done a show since?
We have, but I just realized.
When did you get fired?
The Brad coffee mugs are out of date, guys.
They
are, yeah. So for anybody listening, Adam's holding up our SDPN mug. You can go back to it.
Steve, can you give us
SDPN mug that says
Brad?
That's what it says.
Except it's just a really somber Brad.
Yeah.
Now, if the Leafs, according to a few insiders, if reports are to be believed, then the Leafs are going after analytics. And by the way, we're not going to the Leafs first, just so we're clear. Mm-hmm. Brad could be Brad Peterson from the Florida Panthers. So if the Leafs interview him, because he's apparently up for the Nashville job as well, it could be. We could just keep the mug.
It's interesting. The more I thought about it,
I'm just talking about the mugs. Don't talk about the AGM part yet.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll save it.
No,
we can't comment on anything you said.
No, you can't say.
Okay.
Well, no. I just said I'm just trying to save the mug. All right, it was a nice.
What is it, Adam? Is it yes and or that's a very nice point?
That's good. Let's all move on.
Well, I wanted to save the Leafs for later.
Very nice point, Adam. What's next?
All right, fine. Say what you were going to say about
Brad. I want to save the Leafs, but let me bring them up.
I'm going to save it.
Curious way to start a show.
It's the mug. It's the mug. Okay. All right. We're talking about the mug now.
Man, we should make Habs and Sabres train merch.
We should. Choo choo.
Way to friggin' throw a grenade right into the fan base there, Keith.
Atta boy. A train whistle. I'm coming with it on Monday.
A train whistle.
Yeah.
Let's go. I love that. Yeah. What a great idea.
It's happening.
But we're going to start in Ottawa. We're going to start with Brady Tkachuk, who is at center stage because of his podcast with his brother Matthew. It's called Wingman. And of course, their father Keith, who was on. Now, we got the clip here, and we can sort of bring that up. But I think what's important here is that we start with this clip led to both the purported target, which Brady denies, Linus Ullmark, and Brady Tkachuk saying, no, we won't do media before the hockey game. And they had a very good game last night, the Ottawa Senators.
Of course.
They beat up on the Sabres. What?
Down 1-0 and stormed all the way back.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
I mean, well, being down 1-0 and storming all the way back is...
Wow. Hey, listen. Let me paint a picture.
As a Leaf fan, 4-1 is a difficult score for us.
Difficult lead to hold.
But they held it, and they played a great game, and Brady was, I think, at his best in this game. I think he did some good stuff.
Yeah, he did.
He got fined $25,000, $2,500, I should say, for the unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was worth the money.
So he was at his best in terms of his shitheadery.
And that's shithousery, even.
Oh, I have some thoughts on his shithousery. We'll get there.
All right.
Are we allowed to show this?
Yeah, of course we are. It's Wingman. It's a podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can play this. Now, this is Keith Tkachuk talking, new at 11, old NHL player thinks young guys are soft. So this is not a new take.
No, I'm glad they have a show. You need new perspective.
But Keith, here's what Keith had to say about nobody in particular.
And I had a big cast on because I broke my wrist or something in the Olympics. So yes, that's what happens. You play through injuries, guys. Holy Christ, this whole team. My pinky hurts. I'm out for 6 days.
I knew that was coming. I knew right when he said that. I'm like, don't say it.
Yeah,
I'm like, don't you say it.
I just had a bad sleep, so I can't play today. Oh my God, disgusting.
All right, well, we're gonna move on here.
Can't play back to back.
So
Rest management.
That is crazy. I mean, back to back. That used to not be whatever. But
Grant Fuhrer played 70 games in 1 year.
I think 76. Yeah,
76.
76.
Haven't shot.
All right, now everybody now assumes that they know who that's about. Now, Brady's answer about this, I'm going to say, but you notice when he says, "Oh, I hurt my pinky," and he kind of throws to Matthew a little bit there, and then he says, "Rest back to back." And it sort of goes the other way. Now,
Just for clarity, he is talking about the Florida Panthers when he says his whole team. He's pointing at Matthew Tkachuk because the entire half of the Florida Panthers are out right now. Half the roster, they're all gone.
In yesterday's video, I said they should just be called the Florida because there are no Panthers left.
yes.
There are none left.
I like that. So that is what started the conversation, but he's clearly alluding to things when he brings up Grant Fuhrer and the back-to-back game.
Right, and that would be Linus Ullmark, who plays the same position as Grant Fuhrer used to. And people...
Is Bob out? Does Bob need rest? Has that been a hot button topic? No, it's been the other one.
Who on Thursday to Saturday did not have back-to-back starts. He was off Saturday after starting on Thursday because he needed the rest.
That's right. And, people took that as a shot across the bow, and I think rightfully, because that's been a bit of a thing. I mean, that Detroit game that Ottawa lost because they didn't lose it because Linus wasn't in net, but it didn't help that their $8.25 million goaltender was like, no, I need a rest day. And, it's interesting. Coach Travis Green, the way he talked about it, and this is what really legitimized it for me, was he said, well, Linus needed a rest. And everybody just assumed that was mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Travis Green didn't say that. And if had it been mental health, I think he would have, or he wouldn't have addressed it at all. That's what I think would have happened.
I don't know. There's a lot of assumption going on.
Yeah.
But, no one... It seemed pretty obvious that no one in media or in the Sens fan base was too happy to see him rest.
That's right. And both Linus and Brady refused to speak to the media, as I said, before last night's game, which, again, the Sens won in convincing fashion, and we have to give them credit for that.
And apparently that is standard practice for Ullmark, like to not talk before a game, not so much for Brady.
Okay.
Goaltenders don't talk before games.
There you go.
That's not a thing that happens. So the expectation that he would is a little absurd.
Now, Coming in Hot Sens posted Brady's full 5-minute postgame. Mm-hmm. And at 3 minutes and 33 seconds, they ask him about this podcast clip.
Steve, can you do when somebody asks the guy? What do you say?
When someone asks, so I asked the fucking guy.
And
he said,
one more time.
So I asked the fucking guy.
Those wins feel great, and those losses feel like it's the end of the world, and especially the way we lost in Florida. That obviously didn't sit well with everybody, and especially the guys in this room. And just think it shows the character and how we handle that, and efforts like this after a game that's unacceptable to our standard.
There's a lot of talks about the podcast, the last one you did with your dad, and some comments made about how players handle injuries and any goalies playing back to that. Were you able to clarify what your dad might have meant?
Yeah, I mean, being a part of it and rewatching it, I mean, I think it was pretty clear he was talking about Florida. But just I don't know how that got turned and misconstrued, but you know it happens. But I mean, I know in there I thought it was clear as day he was talking about Florida, but all that other stuff and just people taking it and twisting it, just nothing I can do about it.
So you don't think your dad made a shot at Linus at all?
I don't think, and I talked to him after, there was not one shot. So, I don't know how that got twisted and have to talk about it now, but I thought it was clear as day. He's talking about the Florida Panthers.
Or any of the clips about ice time? I know your dad.
Yeah, I mean, I've answered twice now, so I mean, it's nothing I can say that what people twist and say. I know what I was a part of it, and all those things didn't come out of my mouth. And I mean, I completely respect my dad. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I mean, I'm not going to put words in his mouth or explain what he said. He's just, if you know him, he's an outgoing guy. He says kind of what he thinks, and I know it's comes from a good place.
So anyway, that's using the truth to lie. He was absolutely talking about the Panthers. He seemed like he was also talking about your team there, Brady.
He used his shots at the Panthers to take an underhanded shot at Linus Ullmark.
Yeah. He was talking about the Panthers. Oh, my pinky hurts, this and that and that. And, he doesn't like that the Panthers are basically mailing it in. Mm-hmm. Let's not forget Keith Tkachuk going off on the Panthers on Toronto radio in 2023 basically spearheaded a dynasty because they were not good. He called them soft. They started winning games and just sort of decided to never stop doing that. Got all the way to the Cup final, and then they won back-to-back Cups. But then he points at Brady and he starts talking about goalies, and there is no issue with Sergei Bobrovsky that I'm aware of.
I've never seen out for a maintenance day from Sergei Bobrovsky.
He's one of the most. He's one of the few quote unquote old school goalies left, in that he's literally one of the oldest, and also he plays the most games if he's available. No, that's Brady sticking up for his dad, and he's trying to put water on the fire that he created, and I'm fascinated by the shelf life of that show. I'm fascinated by how long it's going to be around, and I'm fascinated by what they decide to do with it, because it's going to cause them headaches. And, because Matthew and Brady Tkachuk like speaking their mind and their dad likes speaking their mind, we assume they're going to be great at this. And what they also have to be willing to do is put up with some shit if they're going to be talking all kinds of craziness, right? If they're going to be talking about this and talking about that. Oh, I don't know how words got da-da-da-da. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be doing this.
I think the shelf life on the show is rather long, because this is a headache that he wants and they want.
Mm-hmm. Did it seem like he wanted it?
That show is not live. He sat there and he heard the words that were said. And if he didn't want that out there, he wouldn't have had that out there. He's totally using, I think it's rather pathetic. He's using his daddy to get a message out 100%. There to someone directly. Yeah. And I think he's very happy with dealing with a scrum like that. I think he's very well coached there. I think he knows how to handle himself in those situations. And he is happy with having that message out there, because he could have removed it if he wanted to. And he's okay with dealing with the backlash, because now he knows that message is out there.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine. I think you're misunderstanding me. Like when I talk about the shelf life, he likes talking all the shit, and then people ask him follow-up questions, and all of a sudden he doesn't want it anymore.
No. I think he knew what he was doing entirely. I think that's where we disagree. I think in that moment he's okay with dealing with Julian's questions in those scrums, because he has to answer those. He probably thinks it's going to be 2. He gets into a third one. Then he gets a little perturbed, but he can deal with the couple questions every couple months if something comes up, if he gets to have the podcast platform. Mm-hmm. Because this is only going to come up every now and again when they do make news, and maybe he gets asked about in a scrum, but now he can deal with it in the scrum, but he also gets the other platform, and he's happy with that. I think he's perfectly fine dealing with himself in that situation.
He didn't look uncomfortable there.
No.
I think he's like, listen, I've already answered it. And remember, when players are in a press scrum, and we've said this before, especially with coaches, actually, it's not the law.
Yes.
Like, they don't have to tell the truth.
No.
And I have a hard time believing that the back-to-back comment from Keith Tkachuk, who's never won a Stanley Cup, would be about the Panthers who've gone to 3 straight Cup finals.
No.
Like, I know that he's lying, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think in that moment, Brady Tkachuk isn't Mitch Marner. He can stand in front of the media and not look scared and have a competent conversation and lie whichever side he wants to lie about. And he'll be fine because he gets to go on a podcast with his brother and talk a bunch of shit.
And the players in that dressing room got the message.
Yeah, I was just looking at Keith Tkachuk's career, by the way, for the comment he made about players and not play. He didn't play an 80 or more game season for like the last decade of his career.
Yeah, well, he was hurt. I would assume.
Oh, but it's fine when he's hurt.
Right. Well,
it's fine when he's a little sore.
Remember,
Mr. I failed a physical there, Keith Tkachuk.
Oh, yeah.
It's old guys saying it was tougher in my day. Every generation does it.
Tougher in your day?
Every generation does it. Every generation does
Brady
it. You know that.
delivered a message to his locker room through his dad. And
just like Matthew did.
He doesn't have to back it up because he can go and he's like, oh, that's my dad said that about the Florida Panthers, and that's not me. And I think he's very happy that message was delivered.
I also think the angle that I've been thinking about is the fact that there's a lot of Senators probably who feel the exact same way he does.
Yes.
And are happy to hear that. And perhaps as much as, and listen, I don't think that's a unified locker room. You can't convince me that, you know, what, and I don't care if anybody's upset about that. I don't think it's a unified locker room. I think Linus is a bit of an, whatever it is, he's different. There's a little bit of that. And I think that they were annoyed with him. And that's a great way to call a guy out without having to do it yourself.
Call out the captain.
And then go and say, oh, well, he didn't mean that. I mean, I think the players in the locker room know. And I think they want to know probably that their guy's behind him.
I want to call it the captain because as long as we're talking about that podcast, remember he talked about the Leafs and not sticking up for Austin Matthews. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like to think our group. Your group is 0 for 2 since that quote came out.
The Thomas Chabot cross-check.
JT Miller cross-checks Thomas Chabot, and I went back and watched the clip this morning. I didn't realize Brady Tkachuk is actually the closest player to it, the cross-check. One of your top D-men, while Jake Sanderson was still out, which I guess makes him your top one, goes down hurt, and you have nothing to say about it because your Olympic teammate did it. Or maybe you just don't want the smoke. I don't know what it is.
Was it probably Olympic teammate?
Oh, okay. Well, great. Well, what about Noah Gregor, who concussed a rookie in a game you were getting your ass kicked in?
That would be Yakimchuk.
That would be Carter Yakimchuk. He concussed a rookie. And what did the Sens do to Noah Gregor? What did the Sens do for the rest of the game because Noah Gregor got kicked out of the game? They didn't do shit. Now, the next game, when it was Brady Tkachuk's turn to fight Logan Stanley, because Logan Stanley socked him in the mouth earlier this season, when it was a personal vendetta, oh, he's ready to go. But when he's got to stick up for his own boys, he's got nothing to say. He's all bark, no bite.
Interesting.
That's the reason he's the other Tkachuk.
I'm curious about what somebody asked me on the stream last night. What would you do if you were Senators management? And to me, I think you're in a rock and a hard place there. You kind of have to let this go because he's the captain. And the rumor for years is that, and this is not going to make Senators fans happy, and they're going to deny. But the reality is that there have been rumors about him out there, whether founded or not. And
what, that he's leaving?
Yeah, of course. And I don't think he's ever, I've never got the sense from him, but it's always the people, someone in his orbit said this and that, whatever. And so I think if you're Senators management, I mean, the whole goal has to be keeping him and making sure that he doesn't want to go. And so are you going to do something about Brady and his dad and their podcast? Or are you going to figure out the bigger problem, which really is, Linus has had an up and down season. And
they'd be
the goalie long term.
They'd be in an Atlantic Division spot if it wasn't for goaltending.
I think they'd be up there with Tampa and Buffalo if they had normal goaltending.
Honestly, probably.
Like, they're a great hockey team.
Probably.
That's a very, very good hockey team.
If they had Reimer instead of Merrilainen, which is
amazing,
at the beginning of the season is not something I would have said, so I'm not going to pretend, like I know better. But Merrilainen was an 860.
Yep.
Which I never would have saw coming. He was so good last year.
But you don't expect goalies who are 860 to be in the league more than 5 games.
No.
Right? Like, oh, you're 860, you're not here.
No, they left him in, and all right, it's okay. Here comes regression, and it never came. So they went out and they got James Reimer, who's been okay. They'd be right up there, but goalies are part of your team.
They are. So, yeah, I mean, and you mentioned it, of course, that Matthew kind of spoke through Keith. I always wonder if this is sort of indirect. But what I get the sense from Keith is that, Keith Tkachuk, is that he is relaying conversations that they've had privately, publicly, and you could see how uncomfortable both guys got when he brought that up, because that's literally a conversation where they're calling their dad going, and you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to bitch. You're allowed to have those opinions or whatever, but then you get back into your professional environment and you act like a professional. But Keith kind of just was like, here's the laundry.
Well, Matthew and Brady still have to play the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they still have to be accountable to people. Who does Keith Tkachuk have to be accountable?
Nobody anymore. He's a multimillionaire. He's happy.
He retired in 2010, was it? Yeah, forever ago. He can just speak his mind and live his best life. That's freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
That's
great.
freedom. But, don't tell me he didn't say exactly what he said.
No, for sure. He did.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's all about how the Senators respond. And you know what? Had they lost last night's game, this is a deeper conversation, but they beat the Sabres who are a very good hockey team.
I know. I think, and I know what the reaction to this conversation is going to be. I just think it's very silly to be like, well, we won, so those words don't count.
Well, I think...
Like, what? What are you talking about?
I think perhaps you could argue that the team responded around it because it was nice to hear it. Because, sometimes you're at work and something's not going right, or there's a person that you disagree with their actions or whatever, and then somebody finally says it out loud, and you go, yeah, right? I'm going to get behind that guy. It felt like, in a weird way, that there was a bit of a galvanizing thing. And I'm not saying that was on purpose, but it sure seemed that way last night.
Well, look at Vegas and what they've done. Like, they tossed a grenade into the dressing room to try to get things going, and they're 2-0, and
Marner's playing the wing again.
Yeah, and
5-point game last night, Stephen.
Wouldn't you know it? Right? Maybe the Sens. I don't know if this is a long-term solution, but just for the rest of the season, the rest of the team is galvanized by FU, and Linus Ullmark has something to prove to everybody.
Claire Hanna, by the way, had the comment from Travis Green on what he said about Brady Tkachuk's podcast. And they asked him, hey, have you listened to the most recent episode? Do you have any comment on it? He says, no, I haven't. I haven't seen it. I heard about it. I know Walt, Keith Tkachuk, really well. He's a friend. Played with him, known him a long time. I know he's outspoken. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but again, that's white noise. Doesn't have any concern of mine or concern of our team. And I think that quote shows how right you guys are in that maybe that moment is a galvanizing thing where it's everybody knows it happened. Everybody knows that maybe there's a shot in the ass there. We're not going to really acknowledge it, but we can use it now to win, because they did go out last night and win in the way that they should have been winning all season long. Yep. Ullmark was fantastic. And that game, I watched every second of it, and it was literally 3 face-off plays by both teams. It was the Sabres scoring off of a face-off play, and then the Senators scoring off 2 face-off plays. And that was the margin of victory for the two teams. That Buffalo Sabres team is the best team in the National Hockey League since December. Mm-hmm. Ottawa hung right with them and beat them on the margins. They can do that to any good team in this entire league. And when they're playing at their best and they're getting goaltending, which they haven't had all season long, they hang with anybody. So I assume that dressing room isn't letting this distract them from a potentially really good playoff run here. And they do need to take Travis Green's lead there. Know that it kind of happened. Know that something was said, but don't let that change what the actual goal is here.
Not all controversies are the same.
No.
Like this is not Ubergate,
with Duchesne,
where that team just spiraled into a crater. No, maybe this could be the thing that gets them across the finish line. They're in a playoff spot this morning. It changes day to day at this time of year. We'll see how it ends up.
Well, the last time it happened, that team was struggling to make the playoffs. They finished 8th and went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So congratulations, Senators, on your Stanley Cup final appearance.
Maybe that's the best trade deadline acquisition you can get is a Keith Tkachuk diss.
Yeah. You know what I will say, too, is that if that had happened in Toronto in this core 4 era, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I can guarantee you this would have been sourpusses about it. What I have to give credit to the Panthers for, and maybe the Senators too, I mean, they won last night, but they gotta keep winning, is that the Panthers responded. Mm-hmm. They said, oh, we're soft, are we? Mm-hmm. Would anybody call in 2026 the Panthers soft?
No.
If you were to rank all 32 teams, where are the Panthers in toughness?
I still remember our podcast after that. I was like, the Panthers?
Right.
They weren't soft. They were not soft. They were definitely top half of the league in that regard, but they kicked it up to they're the most violent team in the league.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you can have a situation like that out of this, and I think it speaks to their mentality about why they have been so successful. This is a team that's played, I think, just shy of 70 games in the playoffs in the last 3 years. That's 4 seasons in 3 years.
That sounds about right.
And you're looking at, and I look at the Leafs, and again, it always goes back to the Leafs because I'm a Leaf fan. I don't think if somebody had called out Austin or Willie or Mitch or whatever like that, I don't think the response would have been the same.
No.
Adam, it happened. Anthony Stoller said it.
Oh, yeah, and then had to walk it back. and then
how they respond.
He had to walk it back.
And then they responded by missing the playoffs for the first time in 9 years.
Just
that's what I'm saying, man.
So bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, have the right attitude. You know, you sometimes too. I mean, was Keith Tkachuk wrong?
Oh, no.
Like, none of what he said. Like, I am watching that clip going,
I think he was 100% wrong to just assume Linus Ullmark could play that game.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay.
Well, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry,
I guess
I meant the Panthers. I guess.
But
yeah.
Okay, so what I saw from Sens fans is, listen, that's your starting goalie. He makes 8.25. You need him to play that game. Mm-hmm. Is it wrong to say that?
We don't know why he couldn't play that game.
Right.
If he had some sort of bad mental health day and he couldn't get up for that game, and he's like, no, it's worse if I go in net. And I know he backed up that game too, so a lot of Sens fans were on that train as well. But I think there's a lot of assumptions being made on whether or not he would have been good to play that game if he said he couldn't play that game.
By the way, Jesse, those are assumptions that were propagated by the Senators. That's the head coach saying he needed a rest day. It was not that he didn't play. It was that when asked, that's what the coach told us. So that's what we have to go on. And so if they don't want this to be a thing in the future, maybe comment differently. It's not Travis Green's first time in front of a microphone, which is why I think that was intentional. I don't think Travis Green is new at this.
Yeah, it's a different conversation.
2 extremely intense media markets. Vancouver.
Oh, right.
And then here. Like, I that's the part for me where I'm like, okay, I get that it could be that. But if it was that, I feel like the coach handles that differently.
With Keith Tkachuk's comments, they can be like, well, he meant this. But there's evidence to look back at and go, well, I don't believe you because of X, Y, and Z. All we have here is Travis Green said rest. And I'm like, I guess that's what it is. But yeah it could be something else. But it's just a guess, right?
It's a difficult dance. Because I'm willing to give Linus Ullmark a lot of leash because of his interview with Claire Hanna and how open he was about the mental health struggles and everything he went through in the winter. But then I know a lot of Sens fans are just completely out of that in knowing that Travis Green says he needed rest and Travis Green isn't giving him that grace in public.
And then there's your opinion on the matter depends on whether they won or lost last night, which is also a decent chunk of people.
If the team isn't giving us that information and that grace, how much do we make assumptions on our end? I'm asking the question.
Well, and I think the Senators too. Like, the fact is that he came back in and they had allowed 5 goals in the first period.
When he was pulled.
When he was pulled,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then after the third goal, people said that they thought he was laughing. I thought he was just opening his mouth to get water. I did not see him laughing.
You can't take a little 4-second clip and post it on Twitter and have an exact know what the context is.
Yeah, I don't think Linus Ullmark's thrilled about what happened there, right? So I don't know, man. For me, it's one of those where we'll never know the full answer. But the Senators, to their credit, have responded last night and potentially. We'll see what they do down the stretch. The Panthers did it 3 years ago. We'll see what the Sens can do. That's the point.
That's a very good team when they get goaltending.
Yes.
Like all the underlying metrics support, they're a top 5 team in the NHL.
And I think it will be a relevant conversation for that management group when this season is over to discuss whether or not Linus is a part of that. Because you've got a great team. The reality of the situation is, Linus can be a Vezina winning goalie, right?
Oh, sure.
But is he going to be that for you going forward? And you just don't know, right? And I don't think anybody knows, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I think at $8.25 million, they need to have a little bit more, they need to know what they're going to get.
How loud's the pop going to be when he gets the Conn Smythe?
Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League and is everything you need for the action on the ice. Jesse says he's got something.
Yeah, because there's been so much disrespect to this franchise all season long. They are the Montreal Canadiens. And
listen to
nobody is giving them enough credit this year.
Jesse, no one saw that train coming.
No. The choo choo choo, here they come.
Oh, man.
Under talked about franchise, under respected organization. They deserve every ounce of praise that they get. They're 2 points out of first place in the Atlantic Division.
Wow.
How many people did not know that until the moment I just said it?
I didn't know.
I had no idea.
A bit of a winning streak here to end the season, and they're already on a 7-game heater.
Cole Caulfield. Can I bet on him scoring 60? Forget this 50.
I don't think that's a bet you can make.
Why not?
He's probably going to do it. He's probably going to score 70.
He might.
And Saturday night's tomorrow.
He's going to score a bunch of goals.
That's guaranteed too.
All I know is if this winning streak keeps up, there's a good chance we're sitting here in 2 weeks and the Montreal Canadiens are Atlantic Division champions.
Whoa. Can you imagine?
And that's
sure
pretty cool.
can.
If you're asking me.
What are the odds?
I can bring up the odds.
Give me the odds.
Like.
Because I'd like somebody to, if you actually do this, I want you to send me the screen grab. Because when you're right, I think the money's going to be pretty damn good. But also the bragging rights, get the money.
Talk about disrespect. Atlantic Division odds right now. Lightning, 1.48 times your money. You get nothing. They're heavy favorites. Sabres are 3.7 times your money. And the Montreal Canadiens are 8.5 to 1.
So you put $2 down, you get 17 back?
You put $2 down, you get 17 back. And that is for a team that is currently 2 points out of first place.
Disrespect.
I would take that.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. That's exciting. I like that. Jesse Blake, everybody. Wow. Found it.
I don't know if you've heard of this small franchise called the Habs, but I think they're up and coming.
Yeah, I want to continue to disrespect them. Download the BetMGM app today and enjoy the NHL like never before. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 18 plus to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. And if you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connects Ontario 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. And BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. Absolutely. Now, another former player that played in Canada, Quinn Hughes. I want to play this clip because this kind of went viral, and I don't know. I mean, he's a very dry human being as it is, right?
Yes.
And I think when you see the words written sometimes, and you hear the clip will give you a much different landing spot than the words do. Does that make sense? Quinn Hughes was asked about what it was like, being back in Vancouver.
I've talked to him. He kind of speaks like he's texting. Like it's just so dry.
He's just very dry.
Yeah.
So here's what he had to say.
Does it work the other way too when you see certain Canucks with the puck? Do you know what they're going to do with it? Maybe
I don't know. No, I mean, you can't guess too much on it's when you get in trouble on the D side, just getting lazy and you guess what they're going to do. But yeah, and honestly, I don't really know a lot of their guys. Like, obviously, I played with some of the young guys there, but for 3-4 months. A lot of the guys I was there with for the meet in my 6 years aren't there.
Now, if he's talking about Ogren, Rossi, and Bouillon, sure. But I think people said that like 16 of the players that are on that roster started the season with him. And he said a lot of the guys that he used to play with throughout the meat of his time there are no longer there. The only one I could think of was JT Miller.
Well, no, Miller,
Bo
Miller, Garland, Tyler Myers.
Okay.
Trying to think of the other guys they sold.
Vinny
off.
Desharnais? Is he still there? I don't know. Where is
no, he's in. He played on the Sharks last night.
Yeah, that's right. That's Seaweed Man on the Sharks.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, I thought he was just kind of being like, oh, I don't really know. And
like Besser is there, Elias Pettersson's there, Philip Hronek's there, all the goalies are there. I don't know.
Is there anything in that quote, Jesse?
I think he was just getting out of an answer, man.
Yeah. Sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot going on with the Hughes brothers in the media.
Generally speaking, don't overthink it.
They're really good at hockey, not good wordsmiths.
Which that's perfect. They're prototypical hockey players in that sense.
I'm not looking for electric quotes out of Quinn. I don't think we're ever going to get them.
Man, I told the story. I just like it, so I'm going to tell it again. At the 2020 All-Star game in St. Louis, Quinn Hughes was there as a rookie, and Elias Pettersson was there as a sophomore. And I got to talk to both of them. And I asked Quinn Hughes, I go, "Who's the weirdest guy in the Canucks?" "Oh, I don't know. They're all pretty good guys." Whatever. Boring answer. Elias, who's the weirdest guy on the Canucks? "Oh, Quinn Hughes."
If you don't know who it is, it's you. Yeah.
Looking at the Canucks roster, all three Petterssons are still there. DeBrusk's there. Besser's there. Bluger's there. Like, there's enough guys to where he can't say that the majority of them aren't there anymore. It's a funny quote.
Teddy Bluger's been there for a long time, too.
Chiodos.
Yeah.
Chiodos Bluchers.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I think Steve, you nailed it. I think he was just trying to get out of an answer.
He's just trying
to.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care, right?
You couldn't give us a nice quote about Philip Hronek. Like, you couldn't tell us, "Oh yeah, Hronek's really hard to play against. I've paired with him for a long time."
My favorite thing about Hronek is his agent.
You couldn't say that.
Man, what a great agent! He's awesome.
He's not good at the media.
Yeah,
that's what I think the long and short of it.
If you want to get Alan's attention, by the way, tell him that there's Philip Hronek trade rumors.
Oh no!
I'm gonna. You dare me to do it right now?
No.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Do not ruin his weekend.
That.
No, he's going to be mad. Do not do that.
Why? I want to do it right now.
He tweeted it and he said it on the show. He's like, "I want to make very clear, Philip Hronek is not going anywhere. He's a part of the future in Vancouver." No, do not do that. Do not. Now, Calgary and Vegas played last night, and it was the Dustin Wolf show until it wasn't. The Vegas Golden Knights are 2-0 in the John Tortorella era. And Marner had his hat trick, 5-point night.
Hilarious. Really great.
And it's funny because it's literally before Bruce Cassidy was fired. And every time we bring up Mitch Marner, people are like, "Oh, you're crying, whatever." It's like, yo, man, all you said was maybe don't water down your asset by playing them at the wrong position.
You can't make people smart, and that's fine. Like, don't play a $12 million right winger at center. That's all I said. I didn't say he's a shitty player. I didn't say he's going to wilt under John Tortorella. A lot of people did.
He still lines up at center sometimes, but he is playing some wing, and they're moving him around.
Sure, that's great. Yeah, no, he's a very useful, versatile player. Have always said that. Mm-hmm. Not shocked. It was the Flames, but also not shocked. This is the John Tortorella. You could call it experiment. Is working exactly as intended. And one thing that I don't think we took into account when talking about, Tortorella's coming in with 8 games remaining is who Vegas is playing.
Right.
Their first 2 games are against the Canucks and Flames, and Torts is in there to shake up the room and get everyone feeling good about themselves.
This is
working exactly as designed. No, this could end up being Kelly McCrimmon's finest work.
I think, it's interesting. I saw him do an interview, John Tortorella, that is, with Darren Millard, who is a former Sportsnet guy who went down to Vegas to work along with Gary Lawless, who's a former TSN guy, as a part of their media group for Vegas. No. And, John Tortorella's got a thing. He's in like a lamb, out like a lion. whenever he comes to a market, it's always like he's trying to convince you that he's not the John Tortorella you've known for years. He's very charming. You hear the stories about the dogs. He's a very he's calm and he's relaxed. I'm just trying to create relationships with the players, right? But what we know is that bubbling under the surface is the guy we've seen at the last 5 teams, which is he's going to get intense at some point.
He's the Family Guy bit about the hard-ass cop who volunteers at the soup kitchen on the weekend. Has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
No, past his gruff exterior. Yeah, no, he's a character. He's ridiculous.
And I think sometimes, and imagine the Leafs had ever done anything this season. I think sometimes you just need a different
regarding
voice.
Anything.
Like literally anything. I'm just saying, they fire one of the best coaches in the league, Bruce Cassidy, who I think objectively was probably doing some wrong things with the lineup, and maybe the players were mad at him from last playoffs, as been reported. I don't think, and Torch said it, I'm not going to change much.
Why would you could just hire someone else if you wanted someone who was unlike John Tortorella? No, you hire John Tortorella to get John Tortorella.
But so then my question is, he's like Mr. Relationship Builder right now. What John Tortorella does Kelly McCrimmon actually want? Does he want
John Tortorella?
Does he want puppy dog loving John Tortorella, or does he want John Tortorella who's ready to throw all the sticks on the ice?
I think the John Tortorella who I think you got it slightly wrong.
Okay,
with the in like a lamb out like a lion or whatever. No, it's a curve.
Oh, is it?
It's a curve. It starts up here.
Okay.
And starts with, fuck those guys. And the whole team goes, yeah, fuck those guys. And then he gets a little calmer. And then towards the end, it goes back up and it's, fuck you guys for being shitty at hockey. Right? But fuck those guys. There's a lot of value there. There's a lot of value in fuck those guys. And it's easy to look at the Canucks and be like, hey, fuck those guys. And Vegas goes easily. And then, hey, Calgary, oh, fuck those guys. And then all of a sudden they have 6 games left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All you got to do, in absence of being the team that's been running the show all year, which is not something you can accomplish in March. Mm-hmm. You can't time travel. Mm-hmm. The other thing you want to be is the team that's going into the playoffs hot. You could have had the most mediocre season, and this is objectively one of the most, if not the most mediocre seasons in Vegas Golden Knights history.
But numbers-wise, it is.
Yeah, if you end hot, go into the playoffs and make some noise, no one's going to remember or care.
And you know who are hot?
Who?
The Edmonton Oilers. They are red hot.
Is that who they're playing now?
5 straight wins, and they are playing each other tomorrow night. Now here's the thing, because the Ducks have been faltering a little bit, Jesse and Steve, right? Ducks have 87 points. 75 games played. Oilers have 87 points, 76 games played. Vegas has also played 76, but they're at 84. Mm-hmm. So going into tomorrow, I feel like that's either a first round matchup or a second round matchup. And
yes, it's a collision course.
Because I love the Ducks. You guys know this. Radko Gudas stuff aside, I still am pro Ducks all the way. But I think for the Ducks to get through the first round, they are going to have to not play Vegas or Edmonton.
I mean, that's one of the hard things about being a first-year playoff team. Mm-hmm. They have lots of experience on the roster, but the meat of it, the future of that team, they haven't been there, right?
Like some of these guys just stepped out of the OHL.
It's going to be kind of hard.
Yeah, Jess?
So this hasn't been widely circulated a lot because I think it's a rather small podcast. There's a podcast called the NHL Wraparound Podcast, and they had on it George McPhee, the president of hockey operations in Las Vegas. Oh. And he talked about Mitch Marner at center. And Mitch Marner did play a lot of center in the hat trick game. Like, that's the thing that happened. I think it was 54% the draw. Like, that's a very big improvement from the 40% he was shooting at before, winning at before. So good stuff. But that Mitch Marner at center experiment is something that is not just going to go by the wayside like Willie at center was in Toronto. It appears that, based on George McPhee's words, and I'm going to play the clip for you right now, this is a thing that is here to stay, and they think they have found something that works. So I wanted to play this for you guys. The NHL Wraparound Podcast, George McPhee.
Let's see.
Just to name 2. And what's your thoughts on how they've performed for the Knights?
I can start with Mitch, and it is amazing, I think, what we've been able to do with him, because when we lost Carlson, we got thin at center, and we decided to try Mitch at center. I don't even know if he played it in junior. Most real good hockey players have played centers as young guys, but he never played center in Toronto. I don't think he did in London. So we tried him at center, and he's been fantastic, and we want to keep him there.
Wow.
Because he's actually starting to become good on faceoffs, but he is a terrific two-way player. And it isn't very often when you can convert a winger to a center. That rarely happens in this league. And he's a number 2 center in the NHL right now. He's been productive for us, but I love the two-way game that this player has. He's so clever and so intelligent defensively, stripping pucks, getting in the way of things. He's probably been our most consistent player. And what we've always liked about our team is we have a lot of really good two-way players. And that's what Jack Eichel is. I've often described Jack as an outstanding defensive centerman who can get you 80 points. Mm-hmm. You know, he can, it's not the other way around for me. I like that he's an outstanding defensive center. He can play against anybody and shut them down, but then he'll get his 80 points.
So shout out the NHL Wraparound Podcast.
That's a great clip.
The YouTube video of this interview has 120 views right now.
It's George McPhee.
How did you find it?
I wanted to just promote this because that's a really eye-opening view into the organization from the president. You know, I don't know how many audio listeners they might have, but not a lot of people have heard that out of the organization's mouth. The guy at the top making the decisions. They love Mitch at center. They're going to keep doing it clearly, and they're very happy with the results.
So let me, because I've been hammering Mitch is in a center. Why are you playing him at center? So let's talk about the potential wisdom in that. He objectively isn't a center. Like, as George McPhee said there, never played it in Toronto. He's right. I don't know if he's right about London.
I think he played in London. Center at London. I think that was where he was a little bit missing. But that was
a decade ago. And it was junior hockey.
How old were we back when Mitch Marner was at London?
We were in our early to mid 20s.
It might as well be irrelevant.
To me, it's irrelevant information. But number one, he's right. He's a very clever player and a really strong two-way player. If you look at all of Mitch's attributes, it's surprising he doesn't play center. Number two, one of the biggest criticisms in Toronto, other than the how he plays in the big moments, it's that he plays too much on the perimeter. Well, one way to get him out of the perimeter is stick him right in the middle of the ice.
They're going up and down the center of it.
Yep.
That's a really interesting thought.
Number three, and I think this is very fair. He makes $12 million because he's an elite right winger. Playing him at center is a silly, not smart thing to do if you want immediate results. And they have not gotten those immediate results. You cannot convince me they've gotten the immediate result. Oh, look at his point. His points are down.
So what he's saying there is he's happy with the progression.
And so what I'm saying is there's wisdom in that. If this is a long-term thing for them, which he's signed to 8 years.
It is a long-term.
They have a very long time to figure this out.
Nothing in Vegas is long-term.
Nothing in Vegas is long-term, but long-term for them could be 2 years.
Yeah.
Long-term for them could be if we can make him a center by the end of the season. That's all we need for the playoffs, and maybe there's wisdom there.
And imagine how much further your $12 million over 8 years goes if all of a sudden you've created a team with 2 first-line centers.
Imagine a world were the Leafs 1, 2, 3 at center was Matthews, Nylander, Marner. Or Matthews, Marner, more realistically, and sheltered minutes Nylander.
Oh, and then Tavares.
Or Matthews, Marner, Tavares, put Nylander wherever the hell you want. It never...
Marner and Nylander, by the way, always played well together. When Matthews was out, remember that last year that Marner was here? They were great. They were great.
I think not developing, and this is something that we said pretty consistently, the Leafs not developing just one of Nylander or Marner. You could have done both, but not developing one of Marner or Nylander at center was an enormous mistake and one of the fatal flaws of that team.
But that's a Babcock, Keefe, Lamoriello, Dubas thing.
And
really,
they had
all of them had a part to play in that, and none of them did right. And if Vegas does pull this off, guys,
none of them fixed it.
It's a stinging endorsement on what we've just said. If Marner next season is playing center full time, right, and Carlson or Hurdle or somebody else has moved down in the lineup, that is it really goes to show how we thought the Leafs really were, thinking ahead of the curve. In a lot of ways, at that point, they were. They certainly aren't anymore.
No.
But back then they were. But it goes to show that they were so not even close to creative enough.
Yeah, you're seeing something where a better organization is taking a player 10 years into his career and creating something that they really are utilizing and needing. And the Leafs couldn't do it in that 10-year gap when he was young and a prospect at the points where you should be doing this. They said, fuck it, we'll just do it now.
Yeah. And Nylander, by the way, was the only guy they tried at center.
For a day.
They didn't even try.
You can't even really count it.
No. I know, but if we're talking about how much they tried, Willie got 3 preseason games? Mitch got nada. Nothing.
It was never even a conversation.
Willie was full-time center in the AHL.
Yep. There you go.
Which is a lot better than played it in junior many years ago.
Yep.
Can I go a little deeper on why maybe Mitch never got the center run in Toronto?
We do know that Marner and Matthews were just not going to not play together.
Did they bully the organization too much?
Yes.
Where they wanted to play in this lineup.
Yeah.
And if they didn't have so much pull with the Toronto Maple Leafs, would there have been a lot of more moving around with these guys?
The inmates have run the asylum for way too long, and I'll go back even further than that. I don't remember who the coach was. It might have been Babcock. I think this was pre-Matthews. There was a game, it was either in the Horacek era or that first Babcock year where they finished last, where the Leafs were thin at center. And so they played JVR there. And JVR could not have been more open and candid about how little he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But
you know what? He doesn't have a choice.
That's fine. But yeah, in other teams that have integrity, the players don't get to make those decisions.
They should have input at some point.
Yes. Yeah. And to Vegas's credit, Vegas's credit and Marner's credit. At any point, Marner could have been like, I don't want to do this. And Vegas could have been like, okay. But he's still there. So that to me tells me he's either been a good soldier the whole time, or he's been a good soldier because Vegas told him, too bad, you have to do it.
Can I also suggest that the Toronto Maple Leafs at that point had Nazem Kadri? And, that was going to be their second line center until Tavares showed up, who then became the second line center and moved Kadri down, and they didn't keep that together long enough. That's part of the reason, too, that development never occurred. Because where are you going to play him? Right, you're not going to play him over Matthews, Tavares, and Kadri in 2018.
That's short-term very thing. True that there was never that need for Marner to play center
until there was.
But even then, you're like, we have JT and Austin, where we're playing him at third line center. So that is, I think, a very important point that the Leafs never had a need like Vegas does, where they do have their second line center missing the entire season, and they need a second line center.
Do you remember even Marleau? There were times where they needed a center, and it's like, well, let's throw Marleau there.
Yeah,
and even that was like,
he was good.
Yeah, but he didn't wanna. He didn't wanna.
And I think I agree with you on that. And I think here's the thing that is very clear about Vegas. And I had a conversation offline with somebody who I talk to from time to time in NHL circles, whatever. And this person,
Mitch Marner,
thinks this person is on the bandwagon squarely of it's the Leafs fans and media fault that Mitch isn't there anymore, right? One of these people.
Okay. So
and
a smart guy.
So what I said to him was, I was like, listen, and I said it on the show, whatever the external pressures were in Toronto, the internal pressures will be more in Vegas. And those pressures are harder. You think the media and the fans are hard. Wait till the general manager staring at you going, you're not on this team anymore, and we don't care that you have a no move. Don't show up to camp. Vegas will do that.
Wait until there's 8 games left in the season and you're the coach and they gas you.
Exactly. Vegas, they don't sort of mess around. And I think what I respect about what that's given them over the years, now they've pissed a lot of people off, right?
And then they won.
And then they won. They've pissed a lot of people off. And they're leaning on the fact that they're a great destination, tax-free state, beautiful place to live, if you good place to live, raise a family, all those things, right? They know that people want to play there.
Mm-hmm.
So they know we have the power over the players here. And I think no matter who you are and what organization, what group you have, in terms of lineup decisions and things like that, guys in their early 20s are still sort of figuring it out. And I think the Leafs sort of handed over that to guys that were perhaps too young. Yep. And I also think they had the wrong coach in place. In retrospect, was Mike Babcock the right guy? Absolutely not. He did some great things. But I think the Leafs tricked themselves after their first playoff run, which was a 6-game series against the Washington Capitals, into thinking, okay, we're a Stanley Cup contender now. The Leafs should have back then, but they went out and were like, let's go get Patrick Marleau.
And yet, when the expectations externally went up, they were like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Why are you holding us to like a standard?
I think they should have taken a more gradual approach to it.
Like that is true.
Like there's nothing to say on that.
So incredibly unlikable. Just oh my God.
And
the biggest group of whiners.
Sometimes
oh my God, dude.
The management group is going to know, hey, listen, you might not want to do this, but if you do this, we think you're going to find success here. And Vegas is very analytics focused. The rumor is, by the way,
they're just well run.
That if you're a Vegas Golden Knights coach, and this is why one of their coaches who was let go, not the recent one, didn't want to be there, was they hand you the lineup sheet before the game and say these are your optimal lines and we expect you to play them this way.
Oh, was that Gallant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what they do there. This is a very analytic based team.
And instead of being like, oh, well, we got to hold on to Gerard Gallant, it's just, oh, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah. And look who was there. Bruce Cassidy, one of the best top 5 coaches in the league, followed up by, if he's not in the Hall of Fame already, will be John Tortorella.
They've fired some pretty good coaches.
Gerard Gallant also sucked.
Yeah,
I think there's a reason he's with the Shanghai Dragons right now.
Yep. And I mean, this is also a team that fired Pete DeBoer after multiple Western Conference, appearances too, right? They have fired good coaches. Gerard might be the outlier on that. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Gerard Gallant fail with the New York Rangers. I saw him fail with the Florida Panthers. I saw him fail with Vegas.
Didn't he have a Jack Adams? Not
that means a lot.
Jack Adams is usually, maybe that's why John Cooper has been with the Lightning so long, is he's never won it.
Doesn't Andrew Burnett have a Jack Adams?
Yeah, man. The Jack Adams is usually the congrats on getting fired within the next 24 months award.
But wow, you outperformed. Let's see if you can do it again.
Whoa. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting, and I think as the Leafs sort of move themselves forward, they're going to have to be a lot more creative than the last time. And we'll move into the Leafs now. And I want to start with this.
Rick Tocchet won the Jack Adams in the 24 season.
Hell yeah.
Like, what are we
Hey, that team is back in the playoff hunt.
Like,
he's not there anymore, is what I'm trying to say.
My timeline is exclusively, like, every time I look at the standings, the Flyers are higher than I last saw them, and their fans are miserable.
They're so pissed.
They're so mad.
They're so mad at Rick. It's Rick that they're mad at.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you called Matt Fay fat, and we can't.
Well, I saw someone like criticize, Mitchkov doesn't have a goal in 11 games. I'm like, they're winning though. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but also score goals.
Yeah, score goals for sure, but like win games.
It's up to 12 games, by the way.
If Matthews scored 0 goals next year and the Leafs won the cup, I'd be okay with it.
I think it's a little different.
It is a little different. Yeah. Oh, would I?
What did you say, Maddie? What did you say?
Maddie.
So we just forget all about this if Austin Matthews is just playing like garbage and the Leafs just win.
That is the beauty of sports. History is written by the
After all that complaining.
No, if you're winning, it's irrelevant.
If you win,
we live in such a funny culture.
We sure do.
here.
If Anthony Stollers scored 60 goals and at least won the cup for some reason.
Well, I'd be happy, but I wouldn't forget.
Matty holds a grudge.
I'm running it back.
Matty, you don't want to see 60 goalie goals and a cup win?
Yeah.
Like, that's better than Austin scoring.
Who would get the goals?
Stollers.
It's Stollers.
Oh, what?
60 goal getter Anthony Stollers.
Yeah.
I think it's more impressive
At this point. Yeah, fair.
One of these days, that's like an untapped resource. The goalie that can just skate it to center and fire a cannon.
Yeah.
Nobody will expect it.
No one will expect it.
We found the hole in the system.
And I'm looking for Patrick Waugh to be the one to try it.
No, we're going to be, it's a flying V. That will fly behind the goalie, right? You see?
That's where the Ducks movie got it wrong.
Mighty Ducks movie where the guys change handedness all the time in the shot, like from one shot to the next, skating up to the ice.
Also, Keenan Thompson's knuckle puck. Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Because, by the way, knuckle pucks do that.
I'm just open to them trying anything at this point.
Yeah.
So,
hey, if you're hungry and you don't like spending a lot of time making things so you're not hungry anymore, Tempo meals may be for you. Ready in 2 minutes. Chef prepared, and here's the thing: they're made for all sorts of eating styles. So maybe you've got, maybe you're gluten intolerant. You can do that. Maybe you've got an ulcer. You can eat things that are good for that, right?
Yes.
And again, it's lunch or dinner in 2 minutes because once that hunger hits, you're like, I better eat, and I better eat right now. And the quickest thing is that sandwich shop across the street. And I know this is probably something I shouldn't eat, but I need to get rid of this feeling.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Temple Meals.
Temple.
Even Maria Sharapova uses it. Jesse Blake uses it too. Jesse.
They have a lemon, basil, salmon, and red pepper potatoes meal.
Whoa.
That is chef's kiss.
Whoa. Okay.
Basil.
Okay.
Basil's such a cheat code.
It is.
Yeah. Basil, make everything better.
Now listen, we want you to try it. And for a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off. So that's you. 60% off. You go to tempomeals.com/SDP. You get your 60% off your first time. So that's Tempo Meals, TEMPO, meals.com/SDP. 60% off your first box. Again, tempomeals.com/SDP. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Yeah.
Let me give you a stat. Okay. Austin Matthews this year, 27 goals.
Okay.
Okay. And that's where he will finish. So 27 goals in 60 games.
Yes. 27 goals. And that's it.
That will be it.
Got it.
Be it. It's his first season without 30 goals ever.
Wow.
Yeah. William Nylander, 26 goals this year, which is right in line with you. What do you expect?
He'll hit 30.
He just keeps putting up points. It's crazy.
He does, and he's missed a lot of time too. Like
his highest points per game in his career.
Oh yeah,
That's
So 72 and 59, which is great.
Yep.
So he is. When I say that, remember that he hasn't played, like, teams are at 76, 77 games played, and Willie's at 59.
And he's been pretty clearly playing hurt for quite some time.
Yeah.
Last night was very poor.
Bobby McMann,
I thought.
27 goals.
Holy fucking shit.
So, I just told you.
Did they win?
Austin Matthews, 27.
No, Kraken lost. They had nothing.
Bobby McMann, 27 goals.
Fucking, I was trying to get on Kraken bandwagon to will them into something, and they've gone on this road trip and they've just stunked up the joint.
What is their record with Bobby McMann?
Oh, it's abysmal.
He scored at nearly a goal a game pace, and they stink.
I think he has.
How are they still in the picture?
8 goals in 10 games since.
How aren't they winning nearly every game?
Because they have nothing else.
Yeah, but they were like a fringe playoff team. They nailed it. They couldn't have nailed it harder. They've acquired probably, who's been more effective since the trade deadline in terms of acquisitions?
I don't know why you're so bent out of shape about this when it's like you got to play the rest of a team.
No, I know, but I'm so surprised that they were a fine team. They acquired exactly what they needed. He's performed miles and miles.
Hold on, Steve. They needed more.
Well,
the guys there aren't good enough.
Hey, I'm going to throw
something at you. Man didn't fix all their problems. That's where you're wrong.
Hey, let me throw something at you. Their management's not very good.
Well,
their management's never been good.
Maybe the Leafs.
They had a bad expansion draft. I said it from day one, and they made the playoffs one time.
Bobby McMann numbers: 10 games. He has a 3-5-2 record with the Kraken.
That's
8 goals, 4 assists, 12 points.
This is literally the hottest he's ever been. in his career. It's got to be. Surely it's got to be. And that includes like streaks where he had hat tricks.
Yeah.
He's hitting guys too, nearly 2 hits per game. He's a very active player. He can play the power play. He can kill penalties.
Do you know how much
for
money he's going to make? So much money this summer.
Oh, his numbers has to have gone up.
If the Leafs could have signed him at $4 million and got results like this, that would be great. But this is going to be like a $5.5 million player.
With the way things are going, I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah, you think so?
No one's available.
Yeah,
no one's available, and he's hot as a pistol.
Very true.
Look at him go.
Maybe he gets you. Okay. Because they're not outlawed. There's not, I don't think they're outlawed yet. 8-year contract?
No.
Do you think Seattle does?
To get the number down? No.
Jesse?
Maybe.
Do you think you can get, can Bobby?
An 8-year contract.
Do you think Seattle goes, you know what, Bobby? You're the one good thing we've done.
I think it's probably 6.
$6 million?
So yeah. It's a 30-goal guy, basically, right?
Yeah. It's probably 6.
Scoring at like a 70-goal pace or something?
6 by 5?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, especially because like Seattle, you found a piece. You want to keep them. There's no free agents. You might as well.
You know, to make everything about the Leafs, I want to know who it was in the organization who said, let's sign that one and give them a promotion. Right? Like, listen, things have not ended up well, but there have been things that have gone well.
Mm-hmm.
I want people in the organization who have done things really well, such as sign Bobby McMann, to
continue to do those things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love that nerdy stuff. Where you know how in Detroit there was like one guy who they credited with getting all the great Swedish players in the late rounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got Zetterberg and
I forget his name.
Yeah.
I would love. I want to know. I want to know who was the one who found Bobby McMann.
That's a good question. And you know what? Their player development. If I was trying to keep my job as a part of the new regime, whatever that's going to be, I'd be like, if I was the Bobby McMann guy, I would be planting the Bobby McMann flag in the earth and waving it and waving it and waving it.
I'd wear his jersey to the office every day.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
I'm the Bobby McMann guy.
And their player development hasn't been necessarily bad. They just haven't had a lot of talent to be able to come through the ranks, right? Like
they've actually done.
They've done a
decently
lot
with what they've had, but they've had so little.
So little. Now, Keith Pelley's press conference has been beaten to death. You've seen all the clips,
and we haven't even done it.
I know. And I what I would prefer to do with this, rather than go through it all again, is narrow down some of the points that he made and discuss them a little bit. Because, you know, the first thing that, you know, I think comes to everybody's mind is the choo. We didn't see the Buffalo and Montreal train coming. Choo choo. And do you know how many choo choos I got from Montreal fans last night on stream?
It's like just. Someone get in this guy's ear. He handed 2 divisional rivals a meme for the next decade.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Wait till they win the cup.
Thanks a lot. Oh, dude, I'm going to be streaming Montreal Canadiens games in like a train conductor's hat.
You should.
Like, you gave them a meme, Keith.
You know,
thanks for nothing.
We should get you a train set and set it up behind you and just have it going all game.
Like Bobby Bacala. Yeah, they'll just have it going on in the background.
Have like a Montreal sort of figurine on it.
Absolutely.
And if it's Montreal Buffalo, which it could be a Montreal Buffalo train, and then we could set them up and they could smash into each other. Anyway, my point is the Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens were not happy, apparently, about their players being mentioned.
Nor should they be. That's a weird thing to do.
So for anybody that doesn't get that, why would they be upset about that?
Because you have the president of a team being like, oh, well, this guy's a good player, and this guy's a good player, and this guy's a good player. And I mean, it's soft tampering. It is not, I don't think it's the definition of tampering, but you did see a ton of Sabres and Habs fans going, how is this not tampering?
It's not tampering because they're A, not free agents. B, he's just saying that they're good players. Now, is it on the line of whatever? Yeah, but this is no. Tampering is going, hey man, do you want to come here off the record? That's tampering.
I think what the impression I got from that quote about naming the players is this man who is the CEO of MLSE is dangerously oblivious. Because what people were able to suss out immediately is they're like, oh, these are the guys they discussed in the Matthew Nyes trade talks. And then There was the alleged Carlo Peterka deal.
Yes, that was on the table this summer.
That was on the tail. Oh, the players he brought up for the Sabres are guys who were involved in those trade talks. And then also the weird stuff with Eric Tulsky. And
no. I asked CJ asked the question and mentioned Tulsky by name.
Okay.
That's why Tulsky's name came up. So I think when you hear that quote, it seems weird. But it was Chris that actually asked that.
Okay, that's fair.
It was a follow-up because he mentioned the analytics, and CJ's like, well, there's only one GM in the league with an actual analytics background in data science who's now a GM.
Right.
So are you talking about Eric Tulsky? So that's why CJ specifically brought that person up.
Got it. Okay. But Michael Hagee and Vinny Borghini were unforced errors.
Yes.
And then apparently there was a follow-up press conference where he said Juraj Slurowski.
Did he? Yeah.
Which I haven't seen yet. It's just people were tweeting.
I think that was. I think what
was that a
you
joke?
call a Slurowski. That's what he said about Borghini by getting his name wrong.
I want a blueberry Slurowski.
With the bringing up the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres out of nowhere and not seeing the choo-choo train come into the station, I was listening to Myrtle and Jonas Siegel on the Leafs report, and they had the same kind of viewpoint on that as I did watching the press conference, in that that's irrelevant to the Leafs sucking this season.
Yes.
Seeing the Montreal Canadiens or Buffalo Sabres being good this year wouldn't have helped the Leafs.
Yes.
It was an irrelevant point to the entire discussion of why the Leafs are bad. He's thought, oh man, if we saw them coming, we would have been better. No, what if we flipped all those wins? You can have the 5 wins you want against the Canadiens and the Sabres. Your team is still bad.
Yeah.
What happened was you were an analytic disaster last year, and you won despite that. And this year, everything came to roost. Yeah. You know, we got the answers here. And then I thought he was just.
We didn't see the Habs and Sabres coming, which is why every time we play the Sens, they outshoot us 40-15.
That's why.
What are you talking about?
In every single game, so it was so irrelevant. And then the prospects too. If you have Michael Hagee right now, you're still not.
That's his name forever, by the way.
We're calling him that forever. I'm sorry, Habs fans, but like that's who he is, and it's also it's a bit.
They are too.
It's a bit.
They
on
think
us.
it's funny.
We are making.
He
fun
gave
of
them
us.
ammo for years.
Yes, you are a train, and you have Hagee. And if they have Hagee, they're also not good. Put Hagee on the team's still ass. So he was just up there
an excuse.
spewing.
It's an excuse, Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
So remember the season ticket holder excuse of, well, we had injuries.
Oh.
What they think, they're extrapolating from the narrative that, oh, well, the Leafs would be in the playoff race if they were in the West. So they're taking that and they're going, well, we're in the Atlantic. And if these two teams hadn't come on so strong, well, number one, Montreal was in the playoffs last year. And
surprise.
Number two, you have to be a top 5 team in your division or fuck off. That's how the playoff format works.
Have to be good?
Yes.
Oh, that's shocking to Keith Pelley.
Top 5 out of 8.
I thought he had a horrible press conference.
It was horrible.
It seemed like he just had so many unforced errors.
I would love to be a fly on the wall with Vinny Borghese and his family and his representation, and because they signed like a week ago. And then you have the Vinny Borghini quote. Well, and I'd love to know if they were like, uh-oh.
So this,
what is that?
Well, first off, I think when he started the press conference saying it's been reported, and it was CJ that reported it, that I've been involved and whatever. He's like, I'm not interested in who's playing left wing.
No shit.
He was involved, and he was in the, has been involved and said in previous years, my job is to be the sounding board, which means if you're the sounding board, what's the GM coming to you about really if it's not the players?
He sat in on the entire trade deadline day. That is a thing that happened.
As an observer.
And that is,
he said.
But Steve, we run a company. If I went over to Drew's house every time he edited LFR and just sat in his room while he did it, how do you think Drew would feel? Yeah. And Drew's a friend, but Drew works for us. If I sat there or if Maddie's editing our social media clips and I just sat there and said, "Oh, I'm just here as an observer."
Here, keep going.
This is the thing I'm talking about here. It's an invasion of space.
You smell great,
right? It's uncomfortable. It's weird, and I think Jesse, you nailed it. I think I just want to put my hand up and say I was wrong about this guy. I thought, this guy was decisive. I thought this guy was going to be smarter than this. And what it seems has happened is they needed to show Rogers that they were making cuts. They made cuts. And when you make cuts, you're gonna force some issues. And the biggest, easiest cuts to make were Masai and Brendan.
Yeah.
And maybe it was Brendan's time, and maybe it was Masai's time. But to not replace them shows me that you don't know what you don't know, which is the worst position to be in. The Leafs on their own, if they went up for sale, Bettman said this last year, which means it's even worth more now. They might be worth $4.5 billion, but if you put them up for sale, they're going to go for $6 to $7 billion. The Raptors, same. So you want to tell me that it's a good idea for a multi-billion-dollar company to have a leader that they're sharing with another multi-billion-dollar company? Because you have to look at Maple Leaf Sports as a conglomerate of companies. I think the Leafs, the Raptors, TFC, they're all different companies.
I think you were wrong for the right reasons, though. You're like, well, his resume is this and that and that. The job's impossible. And like I've said that from day one, and I'm strong on that. And I think now we see clearly. But like if that's the stuff, like all the missteps he had in that press conference, those are just the Leafs missteps, right? What is he half or a quarter understanding about the Raptors or TFC?
Well, I think with the Raptors, he figured out early, I don't know this sport, and they've been looking for a president, have they not? Well, it's like they hired.
Let's keep figuring that out there, Keith.
They haven't hired one.
Yeah, it would be great if that press conference was the drop dead date of I don't know what I'm talking about. That was like usually those press conferences happen and we don't care, because nothing happens. But all we got was, he does not know what he's speaking about.
And I think that was the eye-opener for me. That's
the Montreal Canadiens? Well, you didn't... What are you talking about?
I don't think Keith's a hockey guy, and I don't mind... Well, no,
but he's not a hockey guy, and he has not recognized that he needed to put a person in power in that position to get the hockey team straight. He thought he could rely on Brad Treliving and Craig Berube to get this whole thing going, and he clearly does not know that he needs to hire people to run these teams for him.
And then he got defensive when asked, was it a mistake to fire Brendan Shanahan and not hire a replacement? Yes. Boy, I should say, and I didn't really say this in my video, I am encouraged by some of the things he said in terms of what he's looking for.
As am I. I want to get to those.
Yeah, okay.
I want to get to those.
Great. I'm encouraged by that. But when he tried to be like, look at all these things I know, I was just like, holy shit.
But
you might as well have showed up with your pants down.
As we said, if you had brought Michael Friesdale out, who was the last permanent CEO of Maple Leaf Sports, and then they had somebody sitting in interim for 2 years before they found Keith. Michael was not a sports guy. Michael was a business guy. So if you'd asked him who's playing top line left wing tonight, he might not have known, but that's not his job, right? That's not Keith's job either. And I think Keith needed to understand that, but it's unfortunate, guys, that it took the Leafs falling so much. They've never fallen further, faster in their 110 years.
From one year to the next, yeah.
The year to year, this is the worst drop in points we've ever seen. The Harold Ballard years. The John Ferguson Jr. years, we've never seen a drop like this ever.
Now, those teams weren't good enough to fall.
Well, maybe not. That's fair. But I my point is that this is a historic drop, and he has to wear that. And when I watched it, I was like, wow, I had no idea how chaotic it was. That's what it left me with. Now, the other thing, there's two things that gave me positives. Okay. Let's start with the first one. They want to lean analytics.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
God.
Great.
Which makes me confused about all the Doug Armstrong bluster.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because they are going to hire, just as a follow-up to that, for people that know, apparently by the end of next week, they hope to have hired an executive organization that essentially what they do is they come in and they go, okay, here's your industry. Here are the best people in your industry. Here are the best up and coming people in your industry.
So they're hiring a third party to find that.
Yes, and that is the best news you
easily the smartest thing they could do.
And because I think Keith is finally recognizing, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you are an executive at Rogers, and assuming you've gotten the green light, fire a money cannon at someone else to solve the problem. What gave me dread was the idea that Keith Pelley would be the one trying to solve this problem. He's not. He's giving someone else the keys to go out there and fix this. Thank God. Mm-hmm. So that to me is him. Now he knows what he doesn't know.
I don't know if I necessarily believe his words. I know what he's saying, but I'd like to see him follow through with everything.
Sorry, Jesse. I missed what you said. This terrifying voice in the back of my mind just said the exact thing that I've been dreading this whole time.
Because Keith Pelley says, Keith Pelley says he's going to be hands off with the organization, let the guys do their job and hire whoever's going to run the hockey team. And I don't believe it. I don't believe that he understands that he isn't a person who should have any involvement with hockey operations, because over the last couple of years, it seems like he's been putting his sticky fingers over everything. And the thing that I point to is his over-reliance on his relationship with Craig Berube. Clearly, there is something very personal going on between the two where
they're friends.
He trusts Craig Berube. We saw it in the initial press conference where Keith Pelley was hired. And he talked about how Brad Treliving was at his child's graduation in Calgary and was not available to sit down with him. And he said, but I spoke to Craig Berube. We went to dinner the night before. That's information you don't need to tell us. Mm-hmm. But he is so confident in his relationship with Chief that he wants everybody to know.
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
We're on a one-on-one relationship. And I trust this man to run this hockey team. And to me, that means that he's getting fed the information on the entire organization from Craig Berube, and then Keith Pelley's now making decisions that way downwards. So when the next guy comes in and Craig Berube clearly has an opinion here that matters to ownership and the guy running the thing, which is then the direct line to ownership, there's going to be his opinion in this whole thing. So it's not going to be the new guys coming in and running it how he wants to. It's going to be Chief in the ear of the ownership, then working downwards to then direct the guy on what he wants to do.
Do you think he's going to be the coach of the Leafs next year?
I think if Edward Rogers and then Keith Pelley like Craig Berube so much that they are willing to give us all of this public information on their relationship with him, that might be enough for him to stick around through all of next season, because he is that close with the people who actually run the organization. And it could be a mandate from the next guy coming in, whether it's the GM and president or just GM, that this is your coach going into next year. We'll see what we have after that, but this is the guy you're starting with training.
I just got here!
Steve.
So don't
hold on. That's one way to read it. I got a completely different view on this.
Exactly. I'm not telling you what is going to happen, Steve. I'm just interpreting something that could happen. Please don't
let me tell you how I interpret.
Blow it or
let me be the angel on your shoulder. Jesse can be the catastrophizing devil on your shoulder. I am the holy hallelujah angel.
Jesse's filling a role that is already very much filled.
You want to,
the catastrophizing devil.
Looking at some of the situations, that is how it might play out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let me tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah. I want to hear this badly.
I think that the fact that they are hiring an outside executive firm confirms two things to me. Mm-hmm. One, Rogers' upper management are furious. And I've heard
So what is that? Upper management.
I'm talking because you have to remember, Keith doesn't work for Rogers. He works for Ed Rogers.
MLSE.
And he works for the CEO of Rogers, Tony Staffieri. Like that would be his direct report. But he doesn't work for Rogers. He works for MLSE. No. Let me finish.
Okay.
So
Yep.
Executives, when you get to that level, political capital and taking credit for decisions and that sort of thing, that becomes a very important part of your resume. I am the one, hey, we won the cup and I'm the one that hired the management group. Well, shit, that's a great executive, right?
Sure.
This is how it's like Succession, right? The fact that they are hiring an outside firm, to me, suggests that Keith knows he's lost a little bit of trust with upper management. And the fact that he is delegating that task.
Good word.
Is that, it's what he's doing. Because then if they win If they bring in Genius McGenius and his genius crew and they win next year, Keith can't take full responsibility for that. He can take responsibility for delegating the task to the right company, but he can't really take that. But I think that what Rogers management has probably told him is, you better come to us with some great people and you better have reasons why. And I think that is what this executive group is going to give them. And that is where I feel like, because remember, if the executive group thing matters as well, this company that's going to come in and help them choose, they are, first off, their name is not Gary Bettman, which is great because we've heard this from multiple teams. When you go through a GM search, NHL head office gives you a list of people and goes, these are the 10 people you need to interview. And there are certain teams that take that, and there are certain teams that go, yeah, that's nice. We're going to do what we're going to do. Thanks very much. The Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is going, we're doing this ourselves. Thank you very much. If the group that hires this group brings the Leafs back to prominence, it's great business for them.
Oh, yeah.
So, but if they do a bad job, that will also stick to them. So there's a lot of pressure on them as well. I think Staffieri and Rogers are furious with this. You look at, let's just talk about the finances of this, okay? Ed Rogers just made a good $1 billion off the Blue Jays going to Game 7 of the World Series. Here's what's great about the great Game 7 of the World Series. They went all the way to the Game 7 of the World Series, but they didn't have to pay for a parade or all those rings.
Okay.
From an accounting perspective, isn't that awesome?
No, they would have made more money if they had won.
Don't
do
have.
that.
I would love to know.
I'm just telling you how they think. I'm just telling you how they think.
They would have made more money if they had won.
I want to be in that boardroom where they're like, the team that won made the most money.
Crazy, huh? Now,
well, what do you read into that? Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm not sure. Give me a couple more days. I'll figure it out.
Let me keep going with this before I lose the thread because my brain can't stay on one track for too long.
Me neither. I'm worse.
So they have all this great momentum from one of their properties, which is outside of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. But guys, if rumors are to be believed, here's what we think. We think that once the sale goes through, and then once they buy out Larry Tannenbaum later this year, they will fold, and they'll probably buy out Omers as well. They will fold the Blue Jays into Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, probably call it something else. And then they're going to be looking for a chief executive. And the guy that's the longest serving chief executives in sports in Toronto is Mark Shapiro. Keith Pelley and Mark Shapiro, in an instance like that, will not be a need for both of them. Where you could move Keith Pelley in that instance is to the head of Sportsnet again, right? Because Sportsnet would probably be folded into that group as well, much like, Madison Square Garden Sports is, right? They own the Rangers and they own the broadcasting, the local rights, all that stuff.
They own a very, very influential dad rock band.
They sure do. Yeah. Man, they sure do. A lot they do a lot of Rolling Stones covers.
Probably the biggest dad rock band in the universe.
So all of that is to say, okay, so you've moved, you're Keith and you're Mark, and you know this. You know that your competition over the next 24 months is each other. Keith has got to start making some good decisions. This tells me he's on thin ice. You've just seen how amazing the city can be when the Blue Jays do as well as they do.
Who are the biggest team in the city with the most pressure.
Barring some fall off, the Raptors are going to make the playoffs. It might just be the play-in round because they just fell to 7th yesterday, but they are going to be in some sort of playoff, which is great. If the Leafs don't make the playoffs, every home game that they don't play is $5 to $7 million.
No, it's 10.
Oh, it's $10 million?
$10 million in gate a game.
$10 million every single day that they're not playing there. And think of how much money Sportsnet loses by not having the biggest city in the country.
Oh, yeah.
The team with the most fans not in the playoffs. So that's a double whammy because you own both of those. So Keith's skating on thin ice here, and he needs to make the right call. And so that part for me, like one of the things that I always get annoyed with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is the lackadaisical, well, we did okay, so that's okay, right? Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the pension plan.
Guaranteed there's been some sort of conversation. Hey, a big Canadian team is making the playoffs. Yes, it's Montreal.
Shit, that's French rights.
Guaranteed.
And if anybody cares about $10 million a game, that's only $500 per ticket on average on 20,000 tickets.
That's easy.
That's just your gate revenue
and
what they make every single playoff game.
Jerseys, booze, food, everything.
All of that's on top of it. Plus, you got to take away the expenses for that stuff. But just in the ticket sales for the Leafs, $10 million every playoff game they don't play is costing them.
And that doesn't even count the tiny child who waves the flag.
That's right.
Oh my goodness!
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
I know.
Sorry.
Or the dinner in the locker room.
Yeah, my point on this is I actually think that the Rogers group are furious. That's what I think. And I think that Keith, by saying we're going to have someone else do this, means that he's recognized, finally, I'm out of my depths, which he always was, which you've always said, right? And
I don't think anyone could possibly be in their depth.
Agreed.
To manage 6... I'm not counting the esports teams, I'm sorry. To manage 6 pro sports teams, it's insane to think you can do that.
And he has no experience.
The European Golf Tour and the Argos?
He ran the Argos 30 years ago and then spent 10 years running a golf tour. What is his experience?
And some media in between.
That's
right.
It doesn't help you.
No.
It doesn't help you run the Leafs. And he is right now the guy running the Leafs.
So this is the thing. I think that there are reasons to hope here. Now, you mentioned the Doug Armstrong thing, which I promise you we get back to.
Sure.
I think Doug Armstrong's name is out there because this lines up perfectly. This guy is from Sarnia. He's a Leaf fan. The word around the league from the people that I talk to is this has always felt like this is going to happen.
No kidding. This very, very Brian Burke being lured away from the Ducks vibes here.
But the difference is that the CEO is now under tremendous pressure. And I think I think Doug Armstrong was their number one candidate. But I think as we sit here today, he perhaps is not, because I think they've gone, you know what? I can't trust my own decision-making. I'm going to have to, I need help. And I think what's happening is they're going, we better be open to this. And we better look everywhere. And frankly, let's look at the successful teams in the league. Let's look. I give Carolina Hurricanes shit for sometimes faltering a little bit in the playoffs, but that team wins the division every year.
Oh yeah,
Vegas is in the playoffs every year except for one. Dallas, Colorado, you look at the Florida Panthers, you look at the best teams. They have the best analytics staff. They have the best player development staff. They have the best training staff, right? It's an orchestra. It all has to work together. And I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we know this. Treliving is not an analytics guy. Berube for sure is not an analytics guy. If you're bringing in an analytics front office, Craig Berube is gone. And the whole conversation about, if Berube was fired, that would be run up the chain. Of course it would be. He makes $5 million a year. That has to run up the chain. Yeah. That's how a corporation works.
It just can't get vetoed.
It's not Ed going in there going, no, I want... That's not how Ed Rogers operates. It isn't. He really doesn't do that. And so for all his faults, Ed Rogers is not going to be like, you hang on to Berube because that's my guy. If you're bringing in an analytics front office and Berube is going to go, well, they still have 2 years to pay him out. They will do it, but Berube will get hired.
I don't think Treliving had the freedom to fire Berube if he wanted to.
I agree with you, but I think that's also where Pelley went. He erred. He was wrong.
I think
he
lost the freedom to do it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, he already had his bullet. He fired Keefe.
Which we always knew was going to be the...
Apparently, Brad Treliving was worried about his job as early as November.
As he should
when those conversations started. And the Leafs had decided that they wanted to fire Brad a couple weeks ago.
But it was after the deadline.
They've already made this decision. Now, and they've been sitting there. And then Brad's finally like, fuck it, are you going to fire me or not? And that's why it came down while the Leafs are on a road trip. And everybody's receiving it through Berube in a weird meeting pregame. Like, it was a horribly mismanaged situation. Just the letting go of Brad Treliving part of things.
I'm not going to defend the timeline there for Brad Treliving, but I'll try to justify it. Ahead of the deadline, I think it was already a little too late to get rid of him. And even I was open to, all right, let's see how he does at the deadline. After we saw how he did, it's like, okay, yeah, there's no ambiguity. You have to fire him.
They were talking extension with him, possibly during the Olympic break. They
had a conversation about it.
They were waffling on this on both sides. And I think that shows how mismanaged Keith Pelley has been running this organization. He's been doing a terrible job.
And that's not what he does. That's not his strength. That's not what he was hired to do. And you got to remember, too, he was brought in as a compromise between Rogers, Bell, and Larry Tannenbaum. 2 of those parties are going to be gone by the end of this year, guys. Tannenbaum's out. Tannenbaum is also out. It's not just Bell. Tannenbaum said this year I am divesting my MLSE stocks because he's trying to support the tempo and
maybe buy other teams.
Buy other teams.
Isn't he currently being sued by Ed Rogers?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? That's just
he just spends most of his life in court.
I just look at this and I go, Keith has recognized, I hope that this is wrong, what he's done, and this chaos has to stop, and he's not capable of this. So Doug Armstrong might have been his pick 2 months ago, but because of the chaos the last couple of months, I don't think he can be anymore. And if Keith is going to be good to his word, okay, maybe you bring in Doug as a president. Let's game plan this. You can still bring in a Sonny Mehta, Brad Peterson, whoever else you want to. You're not bringing in Eric Tulsky, but somebody who's like Eric Tulsky.
Yeah.
Because you know who else did that? Don Waddell. Is Don Waddell known as Mr. Analytics? No, but Don was smart enough to go, I don't really get this stuff, but I am going to surround myself with people who are pretty smart. And
the Blue Jackets have a pretty robust analytics stuff.
They do.
Surprisingly.
And is Don's running the team, but is Don an analytics guy? I don't think he's doing calculations.
Well,
no.
it's just good leadership.
One thing.
So why can't Doug be that?
Right.
Maybe he is.
Okay. So that discussion about bringing in Doug Armstrong as like the president, and then you have somebody under him who's better. Keith Pelley wouldn't commit to that, and that also gave me pause because you look at the last Stanley Cup champions. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's the Florida Panthers, the Colorado Avalanche. All of those teams have first-time GMs who are in positions as GMs, and then they have somebody above them as a president who's running the whole thing. And to not look at that structure and say, he kept using the fucking word structure. It's so stupid. And to not look at that structure and say, that's the one that's going to work for our organization because it worked for 8 years before Brad. And then this year where we didn't have that, it was a mess. And to not commit to going back to that, to me, gave me a lot of pause because they could still bring in this analytics guy, but then Keefe is still his boss.
I think that he doesn't want to commit to anything because he's realized in the past he said too many things that people have held him to account on. We're not just here to sell jerseys. I'm just here to be the sounding board. And he's in the board. That's what I'm saying is that's why he doesn't want to be committal. Yeah, because he doesn't want you to come back and throw it in his face.
He did that 3 minutes before, being like the choo-choo train Canadians and Sabres are coming into town.
I agree.
So
he's not good at that.
So I was like, there's a moment if you want to slip up and say we want a president GM, I'll take that. But in that moment where I wanted to hear something, he wasn't going to say it. But in the moment where you should shut up about other teams' prospects, he was willing to say that.
Yes, because he's not.
Because he's bad.
Well, because he's used to giving speeches to people that work for him. As I keep saying on this show, these executives, when they step into public roles, like when did we ever see Michael Friesdale in front of a microphone?
I couldn't tell you what he looks like.
Because he shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because Michael was smart enough to go, no one wants to hear from me. I'm the business guy. We'll let Shanny and Masai handle that. Thank you very much. And Bill Manning back in the day. And Tim Bezbachenko before him. Keith needs to learn that. Keith should not be at these press conferences anymore other than as an observer. You need a president. Get a president. He needs a president. I know he needs a president.
Yeah.
And you know he needs a president, and we know we're getting one. I am okay with the Doug Armstrong thing, so long as the analytics person underneath him, who better be a fucking genius, because it's going to take a genius to turn this around, is allowed to do what they need to do. Because here's what we ran into. Dubas was brilliant and surrounded himself with brilliant people. Now, was every move Kyle Dubas made brilliant? No. But that can't be. Nobody's hit rate's 100.
No.
I just look at this and I go, okay, Kyle had some major trades next. Trades that I would still make today. Remember, Brandon Hagel was going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf before Shanahan said, no, you're not trading Matthew Nyes for him. And by the way, 10 times out of 10, I would have taken Hagel in those years over Nyes in these years. And it's not because I don't love Matthew Nyes. It's because Brandon Hagel scored 50 fucking goals.
Wasn't it Hagel and Fleury?
Hagel and Fleury.
Oh,
for
man.
Nyes and a first.
So
or 2 firsts.
I've said I'm not trading Matthew Nyes. There's a very small group of, oh my God.
Brandon Hagel in his prime before all the injuries too.
Oh my God. I would have done all that.
That's
now at the time, Brandon Hagel didn't have quite the same cachet.
But the word was that
still.
Shanny said to Dubas, this is what I've heard. Who the fuck is Brandon Hagel?
That might have been my reaction at the time too. But damn.
So you need to let the analytics guys be analytics guys. And you know what would help? I really hope, people are talking about Mike Gillis. I think that's a really interesting one.
I don't get that at all.
So I've heard that Mike was very much ahead of the curve with the Vancouver Canucks when he did that.
Why hasn't he been in the NHL for a decade?
And that's a very good question. I think he can be a personality that grinds people the wrong way. I don't think he and I don't know. I don't know this for sure, but I get the sense that perhaps Gary Bettman's not the biggest fan of him, which would keep him out of the league. But Rogers is not going to listen to what Gary says. So Mike's interesting because he's very much a study on greatness, right? He loves great teams and was ahead of the curve on the analytics and was able to put together those great Canucks teams. Yes, they ultimately didn't win, but they sure won a lot of games.
The story I had heard with him is when the Canucks went up 2-0, he was talking about it like playing the parade.
Yeah, and that you don't do that.
No.
But I'm sure he's learned from that. That was also 15 years ago.
Just on Elite Prospects, his last gig in the NHL was 2013-14. He was GM of the Canucks. Then in 16-17 and 17-18, he worked for Genève Servette in Switzerland. That's it.
Yeah. Listen, it's an interesting one. The one I'm more interested in.
Okay.
And the one I think, here's what Kyle never had. Kyle stepped out of junior, became an AGM here under Lou Lamoriello, and then became the general manager. And when Kyle ran things upstairs, he's talking to a Hall of Famer and a Stanley Cup winner in Brandon Shanahan. You bring in
as an executive?
Like I think it's Brad Peterson or Sonny Mehta from Florida, for instance, who are both AGMs there. And Sonny is the one that I'm most interested in because he seems to be the analytics guy. If that guy is interested, he's won a cup. He's won 2. And in fact, he's been to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. If you're Doug Armstrong, you haven't done that. So if Sonny Mehta's coming to you and saying, we need to do this, you're Doug Armstrong, as tenured and respected as you are, this guy's got more cup appearances than you.
Interesting.
I like that. I want something like that where he's young, he's intelligent, and he's got the resume.
The president of the Toronto Maple Leafs should not be a lifetime achievement award.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. So we got to stop. Like I was open to the idea of Doug being president, and even I've talked myself out of it.
Okay, that's fine. And another guy that keeps coming up, and I don't understand this one, and I said it on the show, the Chris Pronger thing. Chris is, yes, he did work at head office. Yes, he's won cups. I'm not trying to denigrate Chris Pronger, the guy.
When did he work at head office?
What is your executive experience? That's what I'm interested in. That's all I'm interested in. I don't think hey, Chris, you want to go run or work in the front office of a smaller team the way Yzerman put in the years, a decade doing it. Sakic, a decade doing it. These guys are not, they didn't just fuck off the ice and then get on. Oh yeah, I'm just going to take over that team. That's my team now. Chris Pronger's doing interviews in Toronto like, yeah, this is mine.
Someone smart should give him a lot of money to do TV, I think.
Oh, he's brilliant on TV.
Yeah. But as an exec, I have no idea.
He's well-spoken. He has a clear, defined brand of how he wants the team to play. That's very attractive to fans. It's very clear that a lot of fans are convinced on him. But I think you need more than just, hey, the fans think you might do a good job. I need to see real, tangible results. And frankly, I think we can do better than just, well, he was a former player. So
the fact that you were a good former player is bordering on irrelevant. We're hiring you to be general manager.
It's a different career.
Not even, Gretzky, greatest player of all time. Here comes the Jack Adams. It doesn't work that way.
People forget Gretzky coached.
He wishes more people forgot Gretzky coached. Right? It wasn't good. Wasn't good. And his resume as Wayne Gretzky was borderline irrelevant. It didn't make him a good NHL coach. It was irrelevant. Entirely irrelevant.
Yeah. Also, I don't get the sense that Wayne wakes up and goes, God, I missed the rink. I think Wayne's done his time. I think he's having a good time.
And that's okay.
I think that's okay. I don't blame him on that. So, Jesse, let me ask you this. would you be okay with what I've suggested? Like, I'm only using the Doug Armstrong thing because he's been prominent. Would you be comfortable with a Doug Armstrong type if you're the Leafs and you're Keith Pelley right now and you got sick glasses? Let's just be honest. Sick glasses. Great set of shorts in the closet.
David Alter pointed out that his glasses always match what team he's talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
So he wears the red glasses when he's talking about the Raptors and the blue ones when he's talking about the Leafs.
Yeah. Which is cute when they're good and exhausting when they're not.
Jesse, what would be your optimal thing here? Like, are you looking for, like, can you see a tenured person at the top with a first-time general manager but long-time executive in there? Would that make you happy?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, the structure that's worked for the Leafs for a decade that they went away from, I think you probably should revamp that. And I think what he says in going more analytics focused would be awesome. We know the Leafs have the resources to build the best analytics department in pro sports because they have that level of money to throw at this thing. And then a GM at the helm who would use that information to then make decisions, plus whatever old guard mentality you want thrown in there, obviously. And then a president who then talks to Keith Pelley about these things and then runs the whole operation, because I don't think the GM should be GM/president. I think you need some level of management there. And yeah, I'd be 100% happy with that because I think that'd be a way to run your organization. I think we've seen it repeated so many times with all of the last 5 Stanley Cup champions.
There's about to be a lot of change here, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's about to be a lot of change.
Yeah, because they fucked up the last 3 years.
And the Leafs will have a first-round series worth of content, that's for sure, because they got the draft lottery coming up. Where the coach is not going to be here. The coach will be fired.
I'd be shocked.
I don't know.
I think
he's gone.
But
I don't know. I don't know how you can be confident in that.
Another really low-key kind of thing is all the people that the Leafs promoted to AGM are kind of stuck. Like, because I think if they had just been left in their role, like, let's say head of player development, you could maybe keep them. But now, if you're building a staff and you don't want to have a front office that has 8 assistant general managers, someone's got to go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, heaven forbid you come in and you have to be the one who's like, excuse me, Dr. Haley Wickenheiser.
Well, there's a lot of people there still working who were Dubas hires because Treliving didn't come in and just whack everybody. So,
which is also not good for job security.
You're gonna have people. You're gonna have the new guy come in and be like, "Okay, you're 2 GMs ago. I don't feel bad about letting you go. It's your time. I want to bring in my people."
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see like a guy like Ryan Hardy splitting the duties with Pridham. I wouldn't be surprised if he was gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Haley was gone.
Well, it's also,
I wonder about Brandon Pridham himself. Is he ready to be a GM yet? Does he ever want to be?
So yeah, I've
heard that he doesn't want to be, but
I said that I've heard the opposite. I said that I don't know if the Leafs have an internal candidate, and I've done some thinking, and I do think Brandon Pridham is a legitimate candidate there, but I've talked about, if they get a new guy, he'd be a great AGM for the new guy. I don't know if that's on the table.
Okay.
Like,
interesting.
I think he's been in that AGM role for so long. Like, I think he maybe wants something more.
If he's not the guy, then he might be the guy somewhere else.
We'll see. I mean, that was what we all thought was going to happen in Pittsburgh, and it didn't.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard this as well. Like, Brandon Pridham, obviously very analytical guy. I've heard this, guys, from people that I've talked to that the Leafs obviously have a very robust analytics staff, apparently like over 100 people, but that Treliving just never listened to them.
Yeah.
He just was like, yeah, that's nice. Stay out of my office. Like that.
Yeah.
Which is so
They have the information and he didn't use it.
So the idea, so there was a narrative earlier this season that the analytics staff is bloated, get rid of them. I think there might have been a stench to that, whereas we have all these people working for us and I don't care what they say anyway. Yeah. So let's get rid of them. Maybe let's, I don't know, keep these people employed and listen to them.
And that, I think, applies to Craig Berube as well, because you watch Leafs hockey and just with your eyes, you see even in situations like last night against the Sharks where they are down the majority of the game, they don't even get the score effects parts of the game where it's, all of a sudden they're outshooting the Sharks by 10 because they're down and that sort of thing happens. They're abysmal when you look at the underlying numbers, and they have been that the entire time under Berube and won despite of it last year. And then this year, they're still the same thing. So if you are to get an analytics organization out of this club, that has to come from the head coach leaving as well, because you'd have to have a guy in there who would listen to those numbers. And I think, I know you guys disagree, but I think that the organization views Craig Berube in high regard, and that they are willing to bring him back next season to at least give the new GM and president their bullet to fire him if things don't go well.
I think that's devastating.
So what I've heard, there was a Pierre LeBrun report with CJ that I think. So Steve, you're taking that as gospel, and I disagree.
Steve,
no.
Let me tell you why.
I'm imagining the scenario.
I just want you to know that that's maybe not the case. Again, I'm going to...
No, it might not be the case. I'm imagining the scenario, and if it were to happen, to me, it's devastating.
It is.
To me,
agree.
If you do that, there's almost no point to any of this.
And this is where Austin needs to step up and say, guys, get rid of him. Remember I told you, great leadership sometimes is off the ice? Yeah. Austin, you got to step up and say something here. And beyond
Start
that...
fresh.
Pierre LeBrun said that he had some... I guess, Pelley's had a bunch of executives reach out to him. He mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Pierre LeBrun, after that press conference, did a really great hit with Gino Reda and Chris Johnston. And it's on the TSN website. Didn't even make television, I don't think. It's 8 minutes long. And LeBrun said, listen, there's a lot of really high-end executives that are very interested in this job. But he said a few of them reached out to me and said, yeah, I'm interested and I'd love to do it, but I will not do it unless I can rebuild it.
Oh, boy.
And there will be somebody that comes in. Here's what I think is likely. They're going to try to turn it in a couple of years, but if you're signing on, you need like a 4 or a 5 year contract to say, okay, we got 2 years left in Matthews. If we can't turn it around in that time, if I'm signing on to this, then you have to let me rebuild it in 2 years if it happens. That's got to be the plan.
In the scrum after his press conference said, we will not rebuild in Toronto.
Yeah,
he's gotta shut the fuck up.
He said, oh my God, Keith, going to be bad for 6-7 years and stink and rebuild that way.
So what is the point then of hiring that company?
Well, Steve, again, go back to this. He won't be here. If they're in a position where they have to make that decision again, he's gone. I'm already telling you, he's on thin ice, right?
Yeah,
he will not rebuild, as in he will not rebuild because he won't be there.
I generally liked Kyle, but that we can and we will.
Bad.
Oh, Kyle, shut the fuck. Stop. I'm trying to think of what are his big quotes from Pittsburgh?
He doesn't say anything.
That's right.
I hate goalie interference.
Yeah.
I hate goalie interference.
Which, you know what?
Which he didn't even say. He just handed out the rule in the press box.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm going to step out of the way and let these guys do their thing. And also the most fundamental part, the most fundamental question going forward with this team. Here's an answer.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, for the love of God.
Adam, I know
you're so grossly out of your depth.
Optimistic in Keith Pelley's next year and the next couple months, really, in him making decisions because he knows his job is on the line too. I have zero confidence in this individual in making the right decisions in the short term for this organization.
You're right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're wrong. I think that people are trying to, he makes a fortune, right? So the idea that he would move on from this and make the same amount of money, probably pretty slim. So he's going to do everything he can to save this, and not save the Leafs in terms of, making the playoffs, save his job, which means having to divest yourself of some of the responsibility that might have given you great credit, but it also limits your it limits your bad. It limits how shitty you look. Well, I hired a president, but that president didn't do a great job, so I can fire the president, right?
I don't think these people fully understand the crazy bell curve you're graded on if you win.
I know.
If you're there at all, hey man, that guy's a genius.
Buddy,
if you're there at all.
Paul Beeston. Yeah. Paul Beeston was the business guy Pat Gillick for the Jays in the early 90s was the general manager. Paul looked after the business. Pat looked after the players. Wonderful partnership. Pat Gillick's one of the best general managers in like MLB history, not just Blue Jays. And Paul Beeston got to ride that shit so long that when they sold it to Interbrew and then they sold it to Rogers. And who did Rogers hire to run the Blue Jays when they lost $50 million in a season? Paul fucking Beeston. And I was dating somebody that worked at the Blue Jays at the time in my early 20s, and Paul Beeston didn't have a laptop. He didn't have a computer. He would smoke his cigars in the office. Dude, this is a guy who literally You're right. I'm trying to say, you're so right.
But he won a championship in 92-93.
That's right.
Dude, even hiring Cito Gaston after all those years.
92-93, baby.
Yeah. You know what?
Bring it back.
Wait, why are they bringing back? Meh. Okay. Blue Jay.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys, like Keith, get the fuck out of the way.
Yes.
And if they win, I promise you we'll give you the credit. I promise you.
Now,
I'll get a Keith Pelley poster.
Something I hate is that
with every color of glasses.
Jonas Siegel put together an article you should read, talking about the various ways the Maple Leafs are upcharging you. So he says, how far will the Leafs go to make a buck? Try a price tag of $956.83. I don't know how they came to that number, by the way.
Me neither.
For a young fan, ages 8 to 12, to stand on the ice and wave the flag before a Leafs home game.
I think that's completely disgraceful.
You should do that. That should be a charity thing. Are you guys fucking crazy?
That you should be embarrassed to pitch that in a boardroom.
And this is something we did bring up in December. Like, we talked about some of these things they're charging for earlier this season.
We did.
Yeah.
And
but
they're plus up.
Now we're getting the exact figures, and good Lord, you ought to be embarrassed.
You know what's nuts about that? Forget the playoffs part of it. Just if you're only playing in the regular season, that gives your company an extra $40,000.
Yeah.
$40,000? Are you fucking serious?
Think of the shit they spend money on.
I know.
What are you doing?
And if you want to hit the Leafs goal horn, you can do that for $63.79.
What?
If you want to hit the goal horn, you can stand in the box and hit the goal horn for $63.79. If you would like to snap a photo on the ice after a game, which I think is actually a good idea and they should do, that'll run you $100. It's $95, $68 per person. I'm not saying that price is right, but I do kind of like the idea of being able to stand on the ice.
I didn't know
that
was a thing.
I don't think they should be charging fans for any of this stuff. These things should go to like charity organizations.
I agree.
The Leafs
school organization
need to rebuild goodwill so desperately that, like, I hear $100 to take a picture, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's $100 selfie.
But guys, what is the difference to you? As the Leafs,
Adam nailed it with they're making $40,000 off that. Let's say the flag bearer every season they get a $40,000 extra. If you just made that the flag bearer who's like a charity kid, is like, hey, we gotta go reach community outreach. We're bringing a kid every game, and then you just sponsored it. And it's all of a sudden...
It's the Scotiabank flag bearer of the game.
It's the Intac Insurance flag bearer of the game. You're going to make more than $40,000 off of that Intac sponsorship.
And here's little Leo from Durham Region. Everybody say hi to Leo. He's our Scotiabank representative waving the flag. And so it makes Scotiabank look good.
Yes.
It makes Leo look good and his parents look good. They did it for free. And Leo's a good kid and good for him.
Yes.
He won the raffle.
And all of a sudden you're not charging... Which, frankly, rich fans, because those are the only people who are going to pay for that.
I am not paying for that.
People who are already wealthy, who are Leafs fans, who are rich, you're not going to their pocketbooks. You're getting it from the big conglomerate who you're buddies with, and you're getting that money. So, if they're doing the whole thing so incorrect.
You're not that kind of rich. I'm just saying.
I know.
You're not the kind of $1,000 wave flag.
Oh,
not yet.
Don't worry.
We're going to work hard.
I'm quite aware.
No, I don't think Leo's getting to wave that flag anytime soon.
Was this part of the article as well? Do they charge to fist bump the players when they're walking onto the ice?
Adam, you would.
I'm looking at it right now. So there is the tier 1 of quote unquote fan access is free. There's the super fan tier, which runs for $135, and then there's the MVP tier, That gives you, it's $1,500, and it includes, among other things, according to Jonas, 2 tickets to, quote, Fan Day, with the ability to purchase 2 additional tickets, a 4-pack of tickets to the Toronto Marlies, a $25 gift card for concessions, 2 Lower Bowl Leaf tickets, plus one of those plus-ups, meaning flag waving, selfie on the ice, whatever, pre and post game, and a dedicated line to enter Scotiabank Arena so you can get in without the crowds.
Okay.
If you want to sit down for dinner in the Leafs dressing room, the Leafs are selling that experience for $1,000 per person, which means normal people are not buying that. That's corporate. Corporations are buying that.
Yeah, that's just businesses waving their piece around. That's fine.
Can I say that I would be upset if I was William Nylander and I knew that you're selling my dressing room for dinners?
I would be pissed too.
I agree, but you picked the wrong player. I don't think he would care.
All right, if I was Max Domi, I would be a little.
Jake McCabe would for sure.
Yeah, you don't make enough money.
You're going to eat on the crest?
Excuse me?
I don't like that.
Pardon me?
Where's the sanctity of the locker room?
I agree.
That's disrespectful to me.
You know what this reminds me of? You guys see those TikToks about Vegas lately? About how Vegas is going through some struggles. Obviously, there's the Canadian tourism loss, but also...
Oh, like Vegas, the city, not
Vegas,
the hockey
the city,
team.
not the hockey team. No, the hockey team's
Okay.
great. But Vegas, the city, a lot of those casinos were bought up by private equity. And so you have shit like hotel fees. So you've bought the hotel room, but you're also paying $100 a night extra in hotel fees. What are those? Nobody really knows. You're going to pay $50 in parking, where parking with your hotel room used to be free. And people are like, hey, why is it like, I know when Tim goes to Formula One races in Vegas, he's like, it's $50 American to get breakfast. He's like, it's insane. And it's because people have you trapped there, right? And I think when you
sure want to fly 5 hours to do that,
it feels like that. It's priced the average person out of Vegas, because Vegas was for the average person. It was not for rich people. It was for the average guy to come and have, $1,000 weekend and
a sleazy time.
Yeah, a sleazy time and a pop and a wheel and a cigar.
That's
damn
the
it.
thing about the 1%. There's not that many of them.
Bingo. And so a lot of hotels are fucking struggling because they can't attract the 1%. And so, they talk about, Jonas goes into talking about Fan Day, which is quote unquote presented by Rogers, which means they're not paying them anything. Attending the day would offer fans unique access for the teams they love during March break, and it was a pay-for-play event. Tickets went for as much as $65 a piece, not including fees. And this at the time where the Leafs are already the most valuable team in the NHL. And just to be in the arena for FanFest is $65 before tax. Like, this is the stuff.
It costs... That's probably more than the average price of most NHL games.
Yeah. Now, for that $65 Fan Day, you have the opportunity, not guarantee, opportunity to meet alumni such as Cujo, Darcy Tucker, purchase merchandise. So you get the opportunity to buy merchandise, but it's 20% discounted.
20%.
Which means you basically just don't pay the taxes. This team needs to get a grip.
Yeah.
They need to get a grip. What do you mean you're trying to squeeze people out of more on like VIP levels and stuff like that? I get making that available, but why wouldn't you make that available? I think they want people on subscription. That's why they have the fan tiers. Everybody, Rogers is a subscription company. They want you on a subscription. I think most people would be willing to do it. $1,500 a year?
I want to go full Arrested Development with this and ask Ed Rogers how much a bushel of bananas is.
Or one banana.
Or here's
a bushel. I wouldn't know.
A banana.
That's a lot of
How
bananas.
much could a banana be? $20 or whatever the quote is. Like
the milk thing.
I don't. Yeah. When was the last time Ed Rogers had a full-on conversation by accident with a stranger who's an average person?
Who instilled all of these things?
That's Keith
Pelley.
And that's where I think. Right. Yeah, but that's where I think Keith comes in and he's like, I got all these great dynamic ideas. I hope as Leaf fans you don't buy them. I really do.
It's a big club and you ain't in it.
If you're like, listen, I get it. If you're a corporation and you want to buy the dressing room experience, something still feels very off about that.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I hope as a fan that you're not buying this. I think you need to send a message to this team with your wallet that these sort of microtransactions, it's literally like playing EA Sports online. Like this shit.
Buy these virtual shoes.
You guys pack that arena with ads before the game, ads plaster the boards, ads on the second level. The box seats are $50,000 a year plus. Like, what are we doing? do you really need the extra $150,000, $200,000 as this is going to give you?
Literally the richest person I know canceled their season seats because they were priced out of them.
Adam canceled his season.
You know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what?
Adam did.
I did.
Adam did.
I did. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've decided I'd rather buy them instead. I can get the seats for free.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll simply buy the team. My name's Adam.
It's a shame.
Adam would do a better job owning the Leafs than Rogers would.
Also,
well, because I care about the Leafs.
As someone who has been in the Leafs dressing
Let's start that campaign.
I would not want to eat in there.
They vacuum it.
I would never think it was a good idea to eat in a hockey dressing room, much less one that is used as frequently as the Toronto Maple Leafs one.
Yeah.
That is yucky no-no. Jesse, does it stink?
No, not in the sense not when you're at Ajax Community Center.
Okay, does it stink a little?
When the players have come out of practice and they are around, which isn't very often because everything's very guarded and they usually leave before they let us in. But when they're around, a couple of guys might stink a little, but it's
a
not
stinky sport.
It's not like you're thinking like Ajax.
I'm sure they'll get some Glad air fresheners and put them in there. Come on.
I know the ventilation system they have, just at the Oshawa Generals, inside the dressing room, the technology is crazy, but also
you still smell it.
I'm not eating in there. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. No. Yuck.
Anyway,
to me, that's akin to eating on the subway.
Yep.
What are you doing? I know you're not eating off the floor.
Listen, I've eaten on the subway. I don't.
So have I, but I didn't feel good about it. I felt judged.
A couple other things I want to.
We're over 2 hours.
Are we at over 2 hours?
Yeah.
I just want to say, let me give you a crazy stat. Okay, you ready? Before we go, how many overtime games have the Kings been to this year?
19.
Jesse.
30.
30 overtime games and NHL record.
Oh, I saw the graphic.
19 is the amount they've lost.
Yes.
Which is the new record.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yes.
That's 9.5 wins or 8.5 wins. 9.5 wins.
9.5 wins. Can they get to 10?
They sure can.
Can they hit 10?
With Steve Dangle on the stream for SPN.
Oh, yeah. The Leafs need to lose that game like they need oxygen, which is why they're going to win.
Jesse, when is your next Blue Jays stream?
Monday and Tuesday. I was supposed to stream yesterday. The White Sox, however, they looked up to the sky and they said, you know what? It's going to rain a lot in Chicago here. Let's not play baseball. So the Blue Jays are playing today instead for the White Sox home opener. So I didn't get to stream yesterday. But I'm doing an extra Dodgers game instead.
Oh.
So Monday, Tuesday, Dodgers, Blue Jays streams. It's going to be a blast.
I love the Doyers.
Yeah, do you?
I love watching the Doyers.
Adam loves Miguel Rojas.
I'm a big Rojas guy. No, you know who I can't? Kike Hernandez.
Why?
Because he's charming and cool, and I just want to punch him. All right?
I actually have quite an easy time hating all of them.
Yeah, I know.
It comes naturally.
Him and Max Muncy. Fuck Max Muncy.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts?
Seems like a nice guy. Dave Roberts is a whiner.
He is a whiner.
Dave Roberts whines in the right way, and damn it, I kind of have to respect it.
Yeah.
Here, Jesse, name a Dodger.
Shohei Ohtani.
Hate him.
Oh, wow.
Garbage.
Name a Dodger cup that you can buy for $80 and refill all year.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's cup. Do you hate that too?
No.
You don't?
You know what, Adam? I heard about that on STP VIP.
There you go.
Do you hate Shohei's dog?
I don't hate any dog.
Okay, good. That was the right answer.
Yeah.
Because you can't hate Shohei's dog.
I'm sure there's people out there that hate Shohei's dog.
I'm sure there's a lot of people.
There's people
They're wrong.
Going, I fucking hate that dog. I don't want him to have any happiness.
They're wrong. They're wrong. But the owner? Oh, screw that guy.
Yeah.
No, you know who I like on the Dodgers, though? Nobody!
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.